Welcome in Out of Bounds here on 103.7 The Buzz. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It is a Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds. So we're going to talk about all the things that are bothering us in the world of sports. If we want to hear from you, you can call or text in at 501-661-1037. Get after us in the Asher Record Live fan feedback. After me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNeighbors. And today, in the 2 o'clock hour, got a special guest, Wyatt Simmons, who is the newest Razorback commitment out of Harding Academy and out of Searcy, and committed to the Razorbacks and had a lot of scholarship offers. Talked a little bit about him yesterday. He's going to join us as we'll get to the bottom of his recruitment process and why he chose Arkansas, as well as the connections that he had. So really looking forward to catching up with him in the 2 o'clock hour. And in the 3 o'clock hour, we'll have Connor O'Gara of Saturday Down South, talk a little bit about all the fall camps going on in the SEC, as well as the biggest news in the SEC. We'll have some other audio, some fun things for you as well. And I know that the guys at the Zone were there at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. I got to hear from Sam Pittman, which I know we'll have some discussions there. But what I got to go there just for a little bit, Joe. I was trying to help him set up the video equipment, which worked out. So that was really cool. But it was amazing to see not only how many people were there, but how many people were there so early to get it, whether it's for parking purposes or just to get a good seat or whatever it is. But that was an awesome thing to know how many fans were just excited to be there and to see Sam Pittman and to know that the Little Rock Touchdown Club is officially underway.
Every year he gets it started, Coach Sam Pittman, and before football season starts, and we're all anticipating. We're 11 days away now, so we're all looking forward to that first game, and we get to hear from Coach Pittman prior to the week, and this is what, kicks it all off and gets it started.
Oh, yeah. Like that's what I loved hearing just about the fans, I think more so than anything, as they were walking by and all of them wearing the Razorback shirts and just talk about the season. And, I even heard somebody goes, I think we could win 9 games. I think 9 games is just going to work out. And then I hear somebody else be like, I don't know, man. This offensive line got me concerned. I don't know. Like it's like banter. It's just, just talking about it, where it doesn't matter about what else is going on in their lives. They're there, they're in the Razorback gear, and they are just talking about their opinions, their predictions, and their excitement for Razorback football. But 11 days, we're getting close to the single-digit mark.
It's always packed, too. Little Rock Touchdown Club, because they have a great lineup every year of speakers, but always packed for Coach Pittman, and then we're expecting a big crowd for Peyton Manning also.
Oh, yeah, and Laurel Rutledge is next week, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, there'll be a good crowd for that. Be a great speakers lined up all season long. So it's really good to hear from Sam Pittman during that. And I know that, again, we'll have some discussions and some reactions from what he had to say there at the Touchdown Club. But it was a really cool, knowing how it gets set up, because it's at the Doubletree, and it wasn't always there, though, right? It was it's kind of moved around.
It's moved around a bit.
Okay, yeah. Because I think that was the first time I've ever gone into where it's at the Doubletree. Of course, I get that always mixed up, too, with the Broyles Award. So, because that's also, I forget which hotel, or where's that one at? I get them mixed up. State House, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with all these events David Basil does, and he's in charge of. But, yeah, that was a great thing, great crowd, and I know it's going to be a great one throughout the rest of the year. But we have a lot of things to get into today. Again, we'll have some national news and all that. But one thing yesterday that I was, again, just saddened by that ended up being reported is former Razorback basketball player Reggie Chaney, who played 2 seasons at Arkansas and the final season of Mike Anderson, and then the first season of Eric Musselman, transferred to Houston, played there for 3 seasons, passed away at the age of 23 yesterday. Don't know any details as to why or the cause or anything, but the Houston Chronicle was the first one to report, and it's just like, good grief. At what point can we stop talking and having to report or having to bring up passing of former Razorbacks or people involved with the Razorback program or anything like that? I know Reggie Chaney was there for 2 seasons, but still, he was there. He was a Razorback. He committed to him. It's just sad, especially at a young age of 23, getting ready to go pro. It's awful.
Yeah, that's the and then the puzzling thing that no details were put out, so people are wondering and speculating onto what could have happened here with him only being 23 years old.
Now, I hope that there was nothing, no foul play or anything like that. And if we do hear of any details of what happened or how it happened, we'll be sure to pass them along. But just really unfortunate, because the thing I remember about Reggie Chaney is, first off, he had a unique number to me, 35. Not a whole lot of people wore
Joe
35.
Klein.
Oh, yeah, I guess there's a, I'd say that. Well, yes, Joe Klein was 35. And I guess maybe in my lifetime that I never saw a Razorback wear 35 very often. But he had that. And, he was a very quiet dude, but had some games where he played really well and seemed to have a bulldog mentality. And even when he went to Houston, he was the sixth man of the year in their conference. And that, not like he just put up a bunch of stats and numbers and everything. I think he ended up averaging only about 3 or 4 points a game in his career at Houston. But he was just a guy that would come in and do the small things, do the little things, the cleanup acts, getting to the foul line, or being a physical guy down low. So he was just always that type of player, and it's just, again, so unfortunate knowing that he's going to play in Greece. That's where he was getting ready to go to as he got drafted over there, and had that career in front of him, for it to be cut short like that. Again, just tragic all around.
It was always exciting whenever Reggie Chaney got on the floor, and there were people that always wanted more. He, kind of, there's some players on the roster now that you look forward to and you want to see more from, like Jalen Graham, for example. So
yeah,
kind of in that same mold where Reggie Chaney, anytime he was on the floor, he could do some good things, and people were always asking, is Reggie Chaney going to get more playing time? Is he going to get more minutes on the floor? They were excited to see him in the game because he did bring a certain energy to the game when he was on the court.
And he had a good size to him. I mean, he was like 6'7", 6'8", had a pretty long wingspan. So had some athleticism to him, had a really great upside. So yeah, I remember there was an excitement to it. And of course, anytime that there's a coaching change, and I'm, give him a lot of respect for sticking it out and staying at Arkansas under Eric Musselman. But it was one of those things where it's just like, hey, maybe something that he wanted to go elsewhere, maybe wanted to have a different role elsewhere. But it was, we talk about when kids transfer out, sometimes people get mad or frustrated. Sometimes people say good riddance, whatever it is. But that is one of the many cases, I feel like, when Reggie Chaney left Arkansas, that worked out for both parties. Like, it worked out for him. He got to go to Houston, play for Kelvin Sampson, have great success, have, again, sixth man of the year in conference, go to a Final Four, and it worked out for Arkansas. So it's one of those things. I have nothing but respect for Reggie Chaney and his time at Arkansas and what he was able to do and accomplish. And going to Houston, obviously, that's not a program that just allows anybody to play on their basketball program. Like, Kelvin Sampson is a really good coach with a lot of great players. So he obviously saw something in Reggie Chaney to bring him in and keep him on the team and give him opportunities to play and everything. So I just have nothing but respect for Reggie Chaney and appreciate his time, and not only at Arkansas, but as a college athlete in the 5 years that he was playing college basketball.
He had a lot of success all the time he was playing.
Yeah. So again, hopefully this needs to just stop. I know we've, it's again just coincidental and all that, but it gets kind of annoying and frustrating for all the reasons that you can imagine of having to come on here and talk about some other person that's gone way too early and way too soon in their careers and in their life. So thoughts and prayers with Reggie Chaney's family and everybody. And hopefully, we know a little bit more about it and what all went down. Because he not only had, Coach Eric Musselman came out and made a statement about him, also had Matt Zimmerman make a statement because he was there with Mike Anderson recruiting him, and Scotty Thurman, too, who's now in Parkview, was on the Razorback staff when they were recruited Reggie Chaney. And I saw that Scotty even said in a statement to hogsports.com, he says, Reggie and I had a big brother, little brother relationship. It was built off of trust. I am extremely saddened by the loss, and my heart cries out for his family at this time. So I had a lot of connections there. And it's one of those things I forgot about, Scotty Thurman being part of the program and part of the recruitment for a lot of those players, and Reggie Chaney being one of them. So I've had a lot of people reaching out and talking about it. And again, just hate to see that for Reggie Chaney and his family too. But on a more lighter note is, we will get into some of the talk from Sam Pittman at the Touchdown Club. Also saw with the streak that came to an end finally, Joe, the preseason streak for the Baltimore Ravens. Everything must come to an end, and that's what happened with a 24-game preseason win streak. They lose to the Commanders last night on what was a game-winning field goal by Washington, 29-28. But
Joey Sly getting it done.
Man, he boomed that thing. And I laugh because there's a lot of things that maybe it's just me and how I look at it, but I love meaningless streaks that I want to stay alive for whatever reason. Is that 3-point streak that Arkansas basketball had? I wanted that to stay alive, and it ended, and it was unfortunate. This was also one of those things that it doesn't matter, but I wanted it to keep going. I wanted to see how long they could take it, and they almost did it. They got close to them, but game-winning field goal by Washington ends up ending that 24-game winning streak for Baltimore.
It turned out to be a really good game. This is one of those games where the teams are in close proximity, and it makes sense for them to play every year in the preseason. So you had that type of excitement going into it with the fan bases being that close. And then there's a new sense of excitement with Washington, with the Commanders, with a new ownership group. And the fans were really into that game and really loud as the game was going on. They had a lot to cheer for.
Yeah, it's almost like with Washington, like anything in sports, whether it's a new coach or a new quarterback, something that's new and that's meaningful, or something that people have wanted to change for a while, once it finally does, the excitement level gets brought up to a whole new level, even if the team's not great, even if it's going to be a season that they struggle or whatever. People find excitement in that. And that's kind of the vibe, I got from Washington, where I don't know how good they're going to be this season. Could they be a playoff team? I don't know. They play in a really tough division that's got some good teams in the NFC East. But you could just tell that the fans are just glad that there might be some positive change on the horizon, where they got a new owner and got new things to be excited about. And they got some players that got added. And, the Ron Rivera is a coach that has proven that he can win. So, I think that there's reasons to be excited if you're a Washington fan. Maybe not this year exactly, but also just for the future of the franchise.
Sam Howell as the starting quarterback, Eric Bieniemy, new offensive coordinator. So they have a lot of offensive weapons, and that brings excitement in itself. So there's a lot about this team. The defense, they're strong up front on that defensive line, and they got a lot of good pieces in place. They play in a tough division, though. Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants all made the playoffs last year.
Well, maybe Washington can be one of those teams that takes their spot and makes the playoffs this year. We'll see. But, hey, still preseason, but we got a lot to talk about here on a Trigger Tuesday. We already got some people that have been texting in on our Southern Structural Solutions text line. We'll get to some of those questions. We'll also talk about Sam Pittman and some of the statements that he made at the Little Rock Touchdown Club, and keep it moving here on Out of Bounds on a Trigger Tuesday. So stay with us.
Razorback legend Quinn Grovey joins Randy Rainwater and Rick Schaefer on Drive Time Sports every Wednesday afternoon at 4. Brought to you by the DHR Group of Sonic Drive-Ins.
This is Sports Center.
Last night in the NFL, the Commanders beat the Ravens 29-28 to put an end to Baltimore's 24-game preseason win streak. The last time the Ravens lost in preseason was in 2015. Sam Howell, who was named starting quarterback for Washington last Friday, threw for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. And former Arkansas basketball player Reggie Chaney has passed away at the age of 23. Chaney played for Arkansas for 2 seasons from 2018 to 2020. He then transferred to Houston, where he played the remaining 3 seasons of his collegiate career and was part of the 2020-2021 Cougars Final Four team. He won 6th Man of the Year in the American Athletic Conference last season. Chaney had planned to play professionally in Greece this fall. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by the Arkansas Highway Safety Office. Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Christy Pettit in Malmö, Matt Cooper in Russellville, or Madison Buse in England.
Tired of all that laboring? Get ready to take a break from hard work with Lazy Boy's Labor Day sale. Save up to 50% off store-wide. From cozy couches to stylish sectionals, Lazy Boy has everything you need to create the perfect living space and a chair that's all yours. A wide selection of furniture for every room. With unbeatable prices, upgrade your home decor without breaking the bank. Don't miss out on your chance to save big. Visit Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor, Shackelford Galleries of Little Rock today.
Attention seafood lovers, Eat My Catfish is back open in Little Rock. The new Eat My Catfish in Riverdale is located in the Riverdale Shopping Center beside the movie theater and Ace Hardware. Eat local, eat fresh, Eat My Catfish.
Listen to The Zone every Tuesday for Clint Kong, brought to you by Farm Brothers Flying Service. For the past decade, Farm Brothers Flying Service has been providing crop dusting services to the farmers in Southeast Arkansas, and they can help you too. Call 870-263-1300.
It's not just about the size of the meat, it's about where you get it from. So get it from Hoggs Meat Market in North Little Rock. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
How's my protege? Jeremy.
Yeah,
Boy,
J-Bone.
J-Bone is, believe it or not, he's getting married.
What? What an idiot. Oh, what a loser. Good. More for me and you.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
There's a place off Ocean Avenue where I used to sit and talk with you. We were both 16 and it felt so right. Sleeping all day, staying up all night. Staying up all night. There's a place on the corner of Cherry Street. We would walk on the beach in our bare feet. We were both 18 and it felt so right. Sleeping all day, staying up all night. Staying up all night. If I could find you now, things would get better. We could leave this town and run forever. Let your waves crash down on me until
It's Out of Bounds here on a Trigger Tuesday. Appreciate everybody listening in this afternoon as we are going to talk about what things are bothering us in the world of sports. But as was mentioned, we have some Sam Pittman will play back for you from the Little Rock Touchdown Club, some of the interesting things that he had to say. But here on our Southern Structural Solutions text line, had a few people already chiming in from the 501. Says, gents, don't forget Untold Swamp Kings starts tonight on Netflix. The Florida Gators and Urban Meyer. There are already returns back from those who have already had an early look at it. So do you want a spoiler or leave it as it is for now? Is it a spoiler if it was a true story and it's already happened? Or I guess maybe there's some new stuff
There's some
that
added
developed.
elements to it. It has to be.
Because it's about that, not only those teams, but of course showcase like the Tim Tebow, the Aaron Hernandez, Riley Cooper, the Percy Harvin. I guess that
loaded with talent on that team.
Almost the reason why they won 2 national championships. And in 2007, I don't even remember what they did. Oh yeah, because that was the year that Tim Tebow won the Heisman. But I think they only went 9-3 and lost to Michigan.
May have been 8-4.
Is it 8-4?
Yeah.
Okay. It's that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was 8-4. Because that was a big thing that people were talking about. Is not only was Tim Tebow like the first sophomore to ever win the Heisman, but it was like one of the first Heisman winners to be on a team that did win double-digit games for the first time in however many years.
But also did something on the field that hadn't been seen before with 30-20.
Yeah.
30 passing touchdowns, 20 rushing touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. I'll never, with the, people bring up the Darren McFadden getting screwed in the Heisman. I will never say that Darren McFadden deserved it over Tim Tebow in 2007. Some people may feel that way, but the numbers you just mentioned, that's why. Darren McFadden deserved it over Troy Smith, though. I will say that. But, again, just always the bad timing for Arkansas. Never a sophomore till the next year. And kind of like when they had 1964, when they had the championships determined before the bowl season. They're like, hey, no, we're going to give it to Alabama in 64. Oh, okay, well, now next year, though, we're going to change it. And then the next year, Arkansas goes undefeated in the regular season, would have been national champions, but then they lose the bowl game, so they don't get dubbed the national championship. So it's like always 1 year too little or too late, whatever it is. That's it's frustrating, but I'm looking forward to that though. If you can, 501, you don't have to spoil it if there's some, but can you at least tell me if it's longer than an hour and 10 minutes like the Manziel?
Probably not if it's from the Untold series.
Is it always just like an hour or so?
It's always like an hour, 15 minutes.
Man, how do you tell that story like that in just a short period of time?
Nicely done.
I guess
It doesn't have to be over the top. It's plenty of time to get it in. That's just like movies now. Every movie has to be 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Why? There's probably 30 minutes you can cut out, if not more.
Yeah. Well, or if they're okay, so if that's the case, that's fine. Do it in 2 parts. Like give me a part 1 for an hour and part 2 for an hour.
And that's what they did with Manti Te'o. That's the only one that comes to mind where they did more than one, and it was a little bit over an hour.
So that story gets 2, but
there was a lot to be unpacked there that people didn't know about.
Yeah, that one was wild. Okay, so here from the 501, it says there's 4 episodes of it.
Oh gosh,
and 45 minutes each for Swamp Kings. Okay, well then I'll enjoy that then if that's the case. I thought it was just a one-time deal, but I'll have to check it out on Netflix. I look forward to it. They do a really good job though with the storytelling and the production and all of that, and each and every one of them have been really fascinating. Because I guess was it the Mouse at the Palace was one of them that was untold.
Yep.
And the Johnny Manziel, the Manti Te'o. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I've watched, or maybe that come to mind.
Don't remember the name of it, but Caitlyn Jenner, who used to be Bruce Jenner.
That's right.
Can't remember the name of the Untold series, but it went through the life as Bruce Jenner into Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, I did not watch that one.
It was good.
Yeah,
it gave a lot of background on how Bruce Jenner got into the sport and just growing up an all-around athlete and just really talented, whether it's running track or playing football or whatever the case may be, golf, did it all.
Yeah, that's one thing I remember hearing about him is like the amount of greatest and like athletic accomplishments that he had in so many different sports at all times was just awesome. Like, yeah, he was larger than life on that regard.
So it is called Untold Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay, so pretty strict and to the point there. Also, let's see, we have Angry Buckeye says, better tell Joe and Rebecca, Chiefs Crown Royal available now in Arkansas. So I guess you can buy a thing of Crown Royal and it comes in a box of with the Kansas City Chiefs on it, as well as a bag of Crown Royal with the Kansas City Chiefs logo on it.
It's a collector's item.
So there you go. Yeah, take that all day long. And then also from the 817, it says, question, is there a possibility that Coach Enos is the next head coach after Pittman? Well, I don't really know if that's the what his end game would be as far as being a head coach. I don't think they'll do a coach in waiting for him. I don't know. That's so early. This is his first year as the offense coordinator under Pittman. I don't even know if that's something that they desire or not, but it's possible, I guess, if he has a lot of success and Pittman steps down at some point or whatever. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think there's anything like, oh yeah, this is the coach in waiting.
No, they don't do that anymore.
Thank goodness. I always hated that thing too. All right. So speaking of Sam Pittman, again, he had the Little Rock Touchdown Club that not only was talking to the big group there at the DoubleTree, but also went on the Zone for just a few minutes. And I thought he had a lot of interesting things to say, but 2 of them really stood out. And we'll start with this one with the offensive line. We've heard him, I guess, about a week ago or so, talk about the offensive line and needing to build some depth, and he's starting to figure it out. The pass protection's been a little suspect, but he was asked again about what's the biggest concern of what's going on with his team right now. And Sam Pittman is pretty direct. He just says offensive line.
Offensive line, if you're looking at depth, offensive line, even though we're finding them. I think Andrew Chambliss came in and done a great job for us. Devin Manuel's been out a few days, and Chambliss proven that he can win. We can win with him. We can win with him in the SEC. So that one's been a really good deal. Marion Wiggins is another guy that we think from Coffeyville coming in is going to help us. But probably depth-wise, I think we've solidified at the linebacker spot. That was concerning. Tight end was concerning depth-wise. Right now, and the health of the offensive line. We've got some guys banged up in there, not permanently, but banged up. So that right now would be probably the key, most concerning depth.
So just about depth and about, something with Coach Pittman being an offensive line coach, maybe gets taken for granted, at least by me, and saying, oh, it'll be fine. But if he's having a concern about the depth and not only having maybe the starting 5 out there, but guys that can step up if there's an injury or, if somebody gets banged up, whatever it is, that's not exactly a position group. We want to be deep at every part, but especially offensive line and the importance of it and running an offense, that's not a position you want to be concerned about in depth right now.
It is concerning, though, especially knowing the type of coach that Coach Pittman is, being that offensive line coach. If he's concerned about the depth, then others should be also.
Yeah, and that's where it's a little, I don't know, it's a little suspect, but also a little disconcerting because of how the offensive line in his first year was really good, and last year was pretty solid too. They had their ups and downs, but that's not the position group that you want to start continuing each year after year, taking a step back or having more and more issues with, because we know how the health of a quarterback is everything. And if you don't have a quarterback to be able to stay healthy because he's getting hit a lot because the offensive line can't protect him, that's problematic. You have a great running back in Rocket Sanders. If they can't have people out there to block for him and to open up lanes for him, that's problematic. It all hinges on your offensive line being solid. And again, he's talking about depth specifically, but still, it's that's not where, if you're trying to be an offense and a team to take the next step and be better from last season, going up against a lot of these great defensive fronts in the SEC especially, you don't want to have it to where each and every day KJ Jefferson's trying to run for his life and having to make quick decisions or quicker decisions that could lead to some turnovers or some mistakes made.
KJ has the ability to move around, which is going to be helpful to the offensive line, but and maybe it gives them time to grow at the beginning of the season and gel a little bit more because of the fact that he can move around. But you want it to the point that he doesn't have to move so much.
And it's important not only to the team for their success, but just for KJ in general. You know, this is his final year at Arkansas. He's trying to get better and trying to get ready for the NFL draft and be as high of a draft pick as possible. And you can't really showcase all those abilities if you're not having the success of an offensive line protecting you, or if you're getting banged up and having to sit out games or sit out plays. Like, that's not going to help your cause at all. So it's important not only for the team's success, but also just for someone like KJ, where this is a big year for him. You know, I think most people think he's a great quarterback, second team all SEC, whatever it may be. But there's NFL draft scouts that are still, all right, let's see what step he can take. What's the next thing he can do before we start believing that he's going to be a first, second round pick in the NFL draft. And so he's got to prove a little bit to those people or to those doubters out there that he can take that next step and be ready for the NFL and be the quarterback that he can be to get drafted and be a franchise guy, if that's the level and the ceiling that he has this season for Arkansas.
For quarterbacks also, they would prefer to be strong in the middle with the center and the guards, be able to step up in the pocket, as opposed to, you know, there's getting pressure in the middle. And, you know, so once again, with him being able to move around, if they're taking time to grow on the edges with the tackles, and he's able to step up in the pocket and working on some things as far as getting better as a passer, he would much prefer that than getting pressure up the middle.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's also with Dan Enos being the new offensive coordinator. We talked about them, you know, working on, you know, taking snaps under center a little bit more and possibly, you know, in goal line situations or in short situations, having it right there close by to be able to get those quick few yards that they need. And that includes drop back passing, though. It's going to be tough to have those drop backs happening where every step that KJ takes, the defensive end is taking the same amount of steps and probably even more so. And he's back in the backfield before he can go through his progressions and everything.
Quarterbacks don't take as deep of drops as they once did. So that's part of the game evolving and changing from that sense, that you're not taking those deep drops. So you're not putting the team at risk of giving up so many yards on a sack. And so that's something also that will help him in this process, not only with new offensive line, but new receivers, and getting used to getting some timing and everything down with the new receivers, new tight ends. But we know what Arkansas is. They're strong in the running game.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback is strong in the running game, and he's used in it at times, but they don't want to overuse him in the running game.
Yeah, and if you're going to have a strong running game, it's always helpful when you have a complementary pass game where, you know, you got plenty of running backs to run it. You got KJ that can run it too, but you got to be able to have the threat of being effective in the passing game to open up the running lanes as well. So it's all integral and it's all very important. But if they don't get that issue with the offensive line depth and the concern that Sam Pittman has, they could be in trouble as it goes on. But also, Sam Pittman was asked about, of course, playing the game in Little Rock and War Memorial Stadium. I know that this has always been a constant thing of, you know, how many games are in War Memorial and how much longer is it going to last. And for the first game being here at Little Rock this season, it's going to be awesome as we're excited about it. But Sam Pittman was just asked about being in Little Rock and also just the schedule, where that's that 5-week stretch where they're outside the state of Arkansas for so long, and how much of an impact that can have on his team.
Well, if you remember 2 years ago, I think we had 5-game stretch in there. 3 of them were supposed to be at home. We played once, in Fayetteville. So that was kind of very similar back then. I don't know if the opponents were quite, I think all 4 of these guys are top 25 teams that were playing. But that's SEC football as well. But so that it happened to us before. It's I'm more disappointed for the fans of Northwest Arkansas. I mean, we're leaving 2 different venues. I get it. At least one of them we're staying in the state, which is a good thing. But eventually I think we need more home games, and certainly, in an 8-game stretch before we're off, we only play 3 of those in at home. And so it makes it difficult for the fans, I think, as well as travel. Travel's travel, no matter if it's home on the schedule and you're going to Dallas, that's not home. Home is Fayetteville.
So he kind of brings up of not only the importance of having as many home games as possible, whether it's recruiting visits or whatnot, but going through those stretches of you have 8 games and only 3 of them are in Fayetteville, or it's happened, multiple times in multiple different years and whatnot. It's got to be where you can tell there's a really big effort made by trying to get as many games to stay in Fayetteville for different reasons. But I think that the stretch when there's nothing in between, like you can't have, okay, well, we may be gone 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but we have this game. It's like that long stretch of a month is essentially being gone from the state of Arkansas is not a benefit to really anybody at the state of Arkansas.
Yeah, that's something that's always going to be a topic until it changes as far as playing games in Little Rock, and it's changed quite a bit over the years. And now it's only every other year that they have to worry about that scheduling part where we're playing games in Little Rock.
And I think the biggest question will be in 2024, be the final year of playing Texas A&M in Arlington, at least on the contract. And then in 2025, that'll be the final year on contract that Arkansas will be playing at War Memorial Stadium against Arkansas State. Now, that's not to say those contracts can't be extended or can't be renewed or whatever, but the next 3 years, those 2 games that you play away from home every other year, those contracts are going to be up. So I think that's where the question is going to be in place of what do they do with it? Do they still continue to play in Arlington every year against somebody? Or do they continue to play in Little Rock at War Memorial Stadium against somebody? Is it an every year thing, or is it stick with an every other year thing? But with those 2 contracts expiring, that's going to be interesting to see how that does play out in the decisions that the university makes of if they want to continue those games or not.
It would be in Little Rock's favor if they let the contract go in Arlington. They don't play any games there. That would more likely set up an opportunity for Little Rock to be an every year deal as opposed to every other year. But if they continue playing Arlington, Little Rock is eventually going away.
Yeah, especially since I think last time I saw that in Arlington, I think Arkansas and A&M or whoever team they play, they make something like $5 million every year just playing there. I don't know how that's divvied up or how is that, what does it come from, if it's ticket sales, whatever it is. But that's what they get out of it. And, out of War Memorial and Little Rock, do they get something similar? Is it something the same? Not totally sure, but money talks, as we all know, especially in this day and age in college sports. It's a very big deal. Let's go to the phone lines. Cactus is in Russellville. What's up, Cactus?
Yeah, I don't want to nitpick, but he did say he feels for the fans in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah?
Them the only fans the Razorbacks got it is in Northwest Arkansas. What about the rest of the state? This is Arkansas.
Yeah, no, I think he's also just referring to the fans that are up there who lose a home game and have their season tickets and whatnot. I don't think it's anything as a shot to anybody, but it's just if you want to go to the home games and you want to have season tickets and have 8 games at home and you have to travel from there up in Northwest Arkansas to come down here. I mean, it's the same thing with Little Rock fans going up there. I think it goes both ways.
Yeah, but he said Northwest Arkansas fans.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. The Northwest Arkansas fans is the ones he feels for.
Well, yeah, just that. And again, I think it's just because it was brought up of the game and being in Little Rock and being at War Memorial Stadium. And also, going to Arlington too. I mean, it's just when you have a lot of fans and a huge fan base that you have across the state, somebody's going to have to travel.
He didn't Northwest Arkansas.
I understand, Cactus, but in the context, it was about War Memorial and the game in Little Rock. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, I listened to it. I was listening to him the whole time, and that just hit me a little bit, a little rough there. But I don't want to nitpick.
All right. Well, appreciate you calling in, Cactus. Let's also squeeze in Ryan, who's in Hot Springs. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, Bubba. I hope y'all are having a good day. I just, I get kind of where he's coming from on that, the previous caller. It's just, we get one game, once every 2 or 3 years. But I will say that I do think once we get rid of the A&M game in Dallas, I would like to see War Memorial go to either once every 2 years or once every 4 years. I don't think we should be there every year because I get the recruiting part of it, but also I also want to see kind of the tradition. That's kind of where I'm at on it. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I would like to add this. So if we're going to continue to stay at War Memorial, I think we need to start playing more in state, and that would be kind of where I'm at with that. And I get why they want to phase it out. I get all that, but I'm just going to put in my 2 cents. I hope y'all have a great day and go Hogs.
All right. Appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, that's where it gets pretty dicey because I know everyone's got their own opinion on this, and that's why they call it the great stadium debate. But I think that just knowing the direction of college football and knowing the direction of how everything's going, it's like I don't know if there's going to be continuation of every year, every other year, but I do agree with Ryan's point that, you know what, it could be a great thing to have where, it's an in-state opponent. They did that against UAPB a couple years ago. They're doing it against Arkansas State in 2025. So maybe they could keep something like that to where they just play in-state teams there at War Memorial. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is or what it's going to be, but I think that just like everything else in college football and college sports, it's changed quite a bit, quite dramatically just over the past few years. But we'll have more to discuss. I know people are calling in and chiming in. We'll get to all of those comments as we continue on here on a Trigger Tuesday. And we'll have what's trending in the world of sports on the other side of the break as well. We'll try to make it work for you, but we're going to have some fun continuing on here on Out of Bounds, so stay with us.
Bob Bottom Dollar Waller with Mark McClarty Ford, and we're Arkansas's #1 Ford superstore. That means we're bringing you our biggest inventory and even better deals.
Like $8,000 off the F-150 4x4 Super Crew XLT. That's right, $8,000 off new F-150s.
Come see your President's Award winner 3 years in a row, Mark McClarty Ford. Where people don't shop, they buy. That's the McClarty difference. WAC #1 based on 2022 new vehicle sales reports from Ford.
This is Pat Bradley for Brewskis. Sometimes you just got to have some wings. And with buffalo, barbecue, teriyaki, Cajun buffalo, lemon honey, garlic parmesan, mango habanero, lemon pepper, pineapple habanero, honey hot, and Brewskis Reaper, you know where to find them. Brewskis, you're home for lunch, happy hour, and late night. It's Taco Tuesday at Brewskis. $1.50 street tacos, $5 signature 22-ounce margaritas, $3 Jose shots, and trivia at 7 p.m. Taco Tuesday at Brewskis.
Allow us to introduce ourselves. We are Big O Tires. However, we might as well go by Big O Tires, alignments, batteries, brakes, oil changes, suspensions, and free visual inspection upon arrival, because we do all that and more. But that name seems a little long and it won't fit on our sign. Now at Big O Tires in Conway and Cabot, take $100 off select sets of tires. That's right, save $100 right now off select sets of tires and get tires, service, and straight talk at Big O Tires.
This is Pat Bradley for River City Flooring, where you can pick your payment. Get 0% interest for 12, 24, or 36 months. And River City Flooring in Maumelle is where you'll save 50% on all in-stock waterproof LVP flooring. And did you know River City Flooring carries cabinets? So stop in and let my friends at River City Flooring help you with your remodel. Kitchen, bath, living, dining, they do it all. Check out River City Flooring in Maumelle at their huge new showroom on Maumelle Boulevard just off 430.
Hi, folks. It's Chris Zender here at Frank Fletcher Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sherwood. Everybody's talking about high prices these days. Gas prices, grocery prices, interest rates. It seems like everything costs more than it used to. But at Fletcher Dodge, we're fighting back against high prices and interest rates. We have employee pricing plus 1.9% on all new Jeep Gladiators and 1.9% on Jeep Compass. And here's the deal of the week, 2.9% 9% financing for 72 months on new Rams. That's 2.9% for 6 years on a new Ram. And we have 2.9% for 72 months plus $4,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokees. Shop Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood for the deal of a lifetime on a new Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram. At Fletcher Dodge, you always get the best price, the lowest finance rate, and more for your trade. And we promise you a hassle-free buying experience. So come see us and give us a chance to earn your business. Shop Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood before you buy anywhere else. Come see us in person at Fletcher Dodge on Warden Road or shop online at FletcherDeals.com.
The Rogers family for Capital Business Machines.
It's real important to keep going what our dad has started. He had a good reputation, and we want to continue that reputation. Business is about relationships, and I think a lot of times it gets too corporate, too internet, too impersonal, and we want to continue that legacy that our dad has started. Treat people right, and they'll take care of you too.
Contact us today for a free document assessment at catbiz.com.
What's up, everyone? It's Christian Weaver for The Zone. Justin West will be back in studio tomorrow, and we'll be talking football as we'll be just 10 days away from Arkansas kicking off the season. Joe Klein will join us to talk about anything and everything. In the second hour, Kevin Kelly will come on thanks to Woodrock Athletic Club to talk about some Week 0 college football games as well as some NFL preseason games. And in the final hour, we'll have entertainment and birthdays. It's all that and much more Wednesday in The Zone, where sports and entertainment come crashing together.
There's only one place to stop for the best in meats in Central Arkansas. It's Hoggs Meat Market. Check out their monthly package deals of the best meats online at hogsmeatmarket.com. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
I bet you slice into the woods $100. Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slice. Yeah! Okay, you can own me.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
If you're shopping for a vehicle, you want to get to Gwatney Chevrolet. Gwatney has best deals in the market, been doing it 60-plus years. Give them a call, 501-982-2102. Great deals at Gwatney Chevrolet on Silverados and Equinox. 1.9% is available for financing. When you finance with GM and a well-qualified buyer, $2,500 off a new Equinox, save up to $9,000 on a new Silverado, and trade in that old cell phone and get $500 towards your down payment for your new ride. And everyone is approved, and that's only through the month of August. So got a few days to take advantage of that still. And some of the other great offers at Gwatney Chevrolet. Make the trip to the Gregory Street exit in Jacksonville. Shop them online, GwatneyChevrolet.com. You can see all the deals, the cash allowances, the rebates, even appraise a vehicle, see just how much it's worth. They're giving thousands over book value, whether you trade that vehicle in or you sell it to Gwatney Chevrolet. Gwatney is always actively buying vehicles, so you get a great deal on a vehicle that you trade in or sell. See the entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on GwatneyChevrolet.com. And if you need a service, they have convenient service hours throughout the week. Also Saturday, 7 a.m. until noon. In case you can't make it throughout the week, it's Gwatney Chevrolet, Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. Gwatney Chevrolet, GwatneyChevrolet.com.
Stricker Tuesday, you're on Out of Bounds. We'll have what's trending in the world of sports in just a second, but a few people have been patiently holding as they call in, as we're going to keep it moving here on Out of Bounds. So let's have Chachi in Little Rock. What's up, Chachi?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing today?
Good. Doing great, man.
Well, good. So I had just a couple of thoughts. So I've been a season ticket holder for Razorbacks for like quite a while. There is no game day experience like Fayetteville versus War Memorial. So I mean, if they never played again at War Memorial, seriously, it probably would not really bother me that much. And all I remember was the last time when we had it was Ty Story and one of our running backs that went down in Little Rock because the turf was so hard. So
was that I think it was Ole Miss, wasn't it? Was that the Ole Miss game you're referring to? In 2017, 18, something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I would rather prefer the game day experience. Secondly, I think the field's in much better shape. But then my question is, if we take away the Arlington game, with the portal being the way that it is, do you think that helps us or would hurt us?
I mean, I don't know if it would. I don't know. I mean, maybe helps because you get that extra home game in Fayetteville for recruiting visits, I guess. But
that's the way they look at it.
Yeah,
at the university.
I mean, but I also think I'm just not putting myself in the position of a 17, 18-year-old kid or even a portal. Playing in Dallas or playing in Arlington at Dallas Cowboys Stadium would be pretty cool, especially if you get to do it every year. So I guess it just depends on who you are.
All right, well, that's all I had, guys. And hey, I'll see you next time you're at Twin Peaks. I'm gonna stick my head in the door.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it,
Look forward
Chachi.
to it.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's I guess that'll be what, the third Friday, right, of September?
Yeah,
is when we're gonna be there. So yeah, looking forward to that at Twin Peaks. Let's go to Chuck in Little Rock. What's up, Chuck?
What's up, y'all?
Hey, Chuck.
All right. First of all, I actually disagree with Chach about about Little Rock. I spent my childhood growing up going to those games, and going to the tailgates out on the golf course. I preferred it, but we are in the SEC West, which is the most competitive part of college football, and we're in an arms race against every other team. And if I love the games in Little Rock, but I understand that our facilities up in Northwest Arkansas are unbelievably nice. And every time we lose an opportunity to bring recruits to that campus and have them experience game day there in Fayetteville, we are putting ourselves at a disadvantage. And just from a financial standpoint, we actually have to pay to play in War Memorial. So we're losing the gate, we're losing souvenirs, we're losing concessions. If we're going to be in as competitive of a situation as we are in, being in the SEC West, giving up any money or any recruiting opportunities is a problem. So, and I get it, it's cool playing at Cowboy Stadium, but I honestly think if I was a recruit, and I'm not, but if I was an 18-year-old kid trying to decide where I wanted to go to college, and I had a choice between seeing him at Cowboy Stadium or seeing where I'm actually going to play, I think I'd actually want to see where I was going to play.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think that with just you bitching up the arms race and how important it is in the SEC, I think that's what it comes down for everybody. I don't think it's anything personal. I don't think it's anything like, oh, well, we want to cater to these fans, but not these other fans. It's nothing like that. I think it's about recruiting, and it's about getting as many visits as possible, because let's be honest, you only have a certain amount of opportunities to get kids on campus, and sometimes they're taking visits to other places. And if you had a home game here, you could have had them, but it's a difficult thing. But I think everybody, at least that's involved, just wants to do what's best for the program, and recruiting's a big part of it. So I agree with you.
And Cactus getting in his feelings about the way Sam Pittman chose to say what he said. Keep in mind, Sam Pittman's game plan, his long-term goal was to finish his career at Arkansas so that he can retire to Central Arkansas. He wants to live in Hot Springs, Arkansas for the rest of his life when his football career is over with. So I don't think there's anything that would ever come out of his mouth, even if you misunderstood what he was saying. He's never going to be slighting Central Arkansas, because to him, this is his forever home. So I would get out of my feelings about whether or not he thought that he was slighting Central Arkansas. He certainly was not.
Yeah. Well, hey, we appreciate the phone call, Chuck. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, it goes back to him saying, Northwest Arkansas fans of having the first 8 games of the year and only 3 of them being at home in Fayetteville. Not many other schools in the SEC have that. So I think it's just, again, about the context of that comment. And Lewis is in Little Rock. What's up, Lewis?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Doing good.
Good.
Good. Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head, John. That's what I was calling about. He took his comments out of context, because when Justin and Wes asked him about that schedule, and that's what he was talking about was the fact that, like you just said, they got 3 home games, and you got those four straight games away, and then you got the A&M game, and like he said, the A&M game, even though it's played in Arlington, that's still not a home game, even though we may be the home team this year or whatever. But like you said, Northwest Arkansas, Fayetteville is the home game. So that's what he was talking about. He wasn't trying to slight the fans down here. In fact, if he'd have listened before that, maybe he didn't get a chance to. But they also asked him about playing here in Little Rock, and he totally gets it as to why we're playing down here, because like he said, some fans from the northeast part of the state or southeast part of the state, southern part of the state may not be able to make that trip to Fayetteville, but they can make that trip to Little Rock. So he gets that. So I think he just took his comments out of context is what happened there.
Well,
or he might have got in late on the conversation or something.
Yeah, well, and also Lewis too. I think that going to your point about what Sam Pittman said, also he's like going down there. He's like that's what makes this the state and the Razorback fans so strong across the entire state is because of the fact that you were able to have games in Central Arkansas and people growing up and getting to see them during that time. It's like that's what makes it so special is that you're able to reach a lot of different people and having different games there growing up and as a part of their history. So I think he gets it, like you said. I think he gets it. He understands it, and he understands the importance of it. It's just, again, a matter of the context of the comment that you took.
Yeah, exactly. And where you came in on the conversation in the first place.
Yeah, that's true, too. That's true, too. Well, hey, we appreciate it, Lewis.
Right.
Thanks for calling in, man.
All right, guys. All right, have a good day.
All right, you as well. Again, good conversation, good comments, folks. Appreciate all of it. We'll have to push what's trending in the world of sports back into the next hour. But that's okay because we're at the top of the hour. When we take that update, we're going to come back with Wyatt Simmons, newest Razorback football commitment out of Harding Academy. Talk to him about his journey and some of the cool stuff that's going on with him and the excitement he has of being a Razorback. He'll be joining us on the other side of the break, so stay with us. Second hour of Out of Bounds coming up next.
Listen each Monday when Morning Mayhem's Justin Moore tests your Razorback knowledge with Razorback Trivia, presented by Capital Smokehouse and Grill, downtown Little Rock's go-to lunch spot.
Everybody, everywhere has heard the endless offers to bring your current phone in and trade up for the latest model. Jump from iPhone 10 to iPhone 23. Switch from flip phone to Android. You've heard it all, but you haven't heard this. This month at Gwatney Chevrolet, trade your old phone towards a new ride. That's right. Why go trading your phone for another phone when you can trade a phone towards a car? During August, your old trade-in phone is worth $500 towards any car, truck, or SUV on the lot. And the best part is, everyone is getting approved this month, regardless of credit or your current situation. You might not have a down payment, but odds are you have an old phone. So don't upgrade your phone this month. Upgrade your ride instead by bringing it to Gwatney Chevrolet, 1301 TP White Drive in Jacksonville. Call 501-982-2102. GwatneyChevrolet.com. Chevrolet. Find new roads.
We are just a bunch of guys having fun. Just one has exceptional hair.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less. 103.7 The Buzz, KABZ, Little Rock. Buzz News with Channel 7's Ryan Houston.
High school football kicks off this Friday, and the weather is expected to hit triple digits that day. To protect the football players and the band, the Arkansas Activities Association is trying to change practice and game times. The band director in Sylvan Hills is already on it. Mark Bailey, the band director for Sylvan Hills, says they try to hold most of their rehearsals in the morning time so that they can beat the heat. Bailey tells us that the heat is nothing new to the band, and they are prepared to cheer on the football team. Well, we can all use some reminders on how to stay safe in the heat, and the Red Cross of Arkansas is here to help. They say to stay hydrated, which means drinking water even if you don't feel thirsty. Limit your time outside. Never leave pets or kids in hot cars, even for a short amount of time. And finally, stay connected to your loved ones and be aware of what you should do in case of a medical emergency. From the Channel 7 Newsroom, I'm Ryan Houston.
Stay up to date with the latest Razorback news with the Red White Report every weekday with Justin and Wes on The Zone. Brought to you by Big O Tires with locations in Cabot and Conway.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
It is back up to around 101 this afternoon, like yesterday, and the temperatures only get hotter going through Thursday and Friday. 104 possible by Friday. That could be a new record. Looks like a break in the heat this weekend. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Today's special at Benihana, lunch only hibachi chicken, $14.95, which includes Benihana soup and our famous fried rice. Come see us at lunch.
It's the Average Guy Movie Review, Thursdays in the Zone with me, Justin Acree, and Wes Moore, presented by Rock and Roll Sushi. Our friends from Rock and Roll Sushi will come in and recap or look ahead to what's trending on TV, the big screen, Netflix, or wherever you get your entertainment. It's presented by Rock and Roll Sushi, deliciously twisted flavors and a rock and roll vibe that'll blow your mind. rockandrollsushi.com.
Hey Central Arkansas, are you getting piggy with it and ready for some football? Donate blood with Our Blood Institute at select mobile blood drives August 21st through the 27th for your chance to win one of 2 grand prize football packages that include a pair of September 2nd Little Rock game tickets, 1-night hotel stay, and game day swag. All blood donors will receive a limited edition football themed t-shirt and a free ticket to Magic Springs. So get out on the gridiron and support your community. Visit obi.org/events today.
August is here, and so is the start of spooky season. Stores are packed with Halloween decor, candy, and costumes. And car dealerships are flaunting interest rates that would scare Freddy Krueger. It's not that way at Gwatney Buick GMC, next to Sam's in North Little Rock. Gwatney's offering rates as low as 0.9%. This year, say no to candy corn, circus peanuts, licorice, and 4-cylinder full-size trucks. Gwatney Buick GMC's trucks have too many features, too much power, and twice the cylinders. Why go buy a full-size truck with a 4-cylinder when you can get the 5.3-liter V8 with an additional $3,250 off at Gwatney Buick GMC? Buying a car doesn't have to be scary, and shopping at Gwatney never is. 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. Call 501-945-4444. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit.
Gwatney for Buick, Gwatney for GMC, Gwatney for life.
David Dunn here with Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. We're the area's largest and highest rated independent diesel repair facility for all makes and models, from transmissions and brakes to suspensions and engine repair. If you're tired of high dealership prices and long wait times, come see what family-owned and locally operated really means. Expert technicians and the latest computer diagnostics will get your equipment back on the road fast. Take the England exit on I-440 to Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. 568-2185. That's Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Joe Fortenbaugh.
Miami currently $11.9 million in cap space available. That's 12th most in the NFL. So if there was going to be a team who could make some of the financials work, they would be one of the teams near the top of the list in order to get this done. I think the irony here is so spectacular that the Colts have just spent half a year telling Jonathan Taylor he's not worth the money just so that they could turn around, try to trade him, and tell anyone who calls them, give us lots of good picks because he's a really good player who's worth a lot. Like, does anyone just trip up or choke on the irony there of what's going on with the Indianapolis Colts, a franchise who feels like the further we get away from Andrew Luck continues to step in it more and more and more at every single turn.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
I love it, actually. I love it because it shows the tenacity that you have out there on the field. Of course, we don't want to get penalized for it or make a bad mistake that'll cost us the game, but just having that hunger, everybody emotions high, everybody's that mentality, that dog mentality, just bringing the best out of each other. It's iron sharpening iron in that. So, we know heated situations are going to happen. It's football. So, just not getting too carried away in those moments to where it hurt the team and affect the team and also hurt yourself.
Yeah. With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We won't go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
I know that it's good when you sit it on my taste buds. I get way too bendy once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down, we playing Tetris. AM to the BMB, fight quit this season. I still be the greatest funk. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put little baby in the spiral.
1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's been a fun-filled show thus far on a Trigger Tuesday, and Razorback football commitment Wyatt Simmons is going to be joining us here very shortly, as we'll get in touch with him and talking about all the things going on with his recruitment process and committing to Arkansas. But before we get to him, let's go ahead and squeeze in Jake and Cabot real quick. What's going on, Jake?
Hey, John. Hey, Freak. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Doing great, man.
Hey, man. Great to hear. Great to hear. So I'm going to weigh in on the great stadium debate, and this is just my personal feeling. The only way we should continue to play games in Little Rock is if we played Arkansas State every single year, and we don't pay a dime to do it, because they are a Division I team. And so each team splits whatever, comes in from that game, and you do it on rivalry week or whatever it is, and we play A-State every year in War Memorial. Other than that, there's no point of playing there. I don't care about what the rest of the state says. Oh, they're way up there. Well, drive. I do. Everybody else does. Still wants to go see them, go to Fayetteville. That's the only logical thing that can happen if you want to continue games in War Memorial Stadium is get a contract with ASU and play them once a year, every year in War Memorial, and we do not pay them to play. No pay to play anymore. People talk about money staying in the state. None of that. No. We're playing on a neutral field. We're playing you guys every year. We split the dividends 50-50, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. Other than that, you could burn more memorials to the ground for all I care.
Well, tell us how you really feel, Jake. But hey, man, we appreciate your phone call, man. We got to run, but appreciate you holding on and listening in each and every day. But listen, we'll talk about that. And I know Trigger Tuesday here later this hour too. But there's a lot of exciting things going on with Razorback football because it's about to get kicked off here in just 11 days. So that's exciting. But also is exciting is having recruiting, which is what you talked about is all the time for the Razorbacks. And they got a brand new commitment earlier this week and something that's going to be really interesting to hear from. So let's go ahead and welcome them in on the phone lines as we have Wyatt Simmons, who is the latest commitment for the Arkansas Razorbacks under Sam Pittman and part of the Harding Academy football team. And Wyatt, really appreciate you joining us this afternoon, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mr. Nabors?
Well, you're doing good, man. Mr. Nabors, please. My father is Mr. Nabors, but no, I appreciate it, man, for you hopping on with us. And first off, congrats of committing to the University of Arkansas. And let's just start right there of why Arkansas? You had a lot of offers to a lot of places that were recruiting. You got your full season ahead of you and in your final year in high school. So why Arkansas of all places? What made you commit?
Yes, sir. Home state. Want to represent. It's huge. I love Coach Pittman, love Coach Williams. They're great guys, great to be around. Men of faith, that was huge for me. The culture seemed great, seemed awesome. I love the culture, and I can go home if I need to. 3 hours from where I live, and that was a huge factor in it. Love my family and want to be able to see them sometimes.
Wyatt, how did it come about with the recent recruitment and just all these schools coming after you all at once? How did that all go down?
It was really crazy. I didn't expect any of this to happen. My dad was just like, he said, you should make a highlight film. I was like, I don't know why I want to do that, but he put together one for me. Me and my coaches figured that out, and I guess he sent it to someone. I wasn't involved in that, but he sent it to someone, and somebody was in the office the next morning wanting to talk about it. My phone started blowing up, and it just all happened at once, like, bam. So, kind of crazy.
Yeah. You mentioned how crazy it was. So, what was that like for you? Just going? Was it like overwhelming? Was it tough to keep up with? Just getting all those schools and not having many schools before. Just how did you manage and handle all of it?
It was exciting. Definitely a blessing. I love the whole process. it was a little bit overwhelming, but I didn't fully understand like what was happening, the gravity of what was happening until a little bit later. So set in a little bit slower, had more time to adjust, and really just took it as a blessing.
You mentioned your dad, Coach Paul Simmons, the coach at Harding University, and him helping you along the way. But overall, how big has your family been in this process? Not only your dad, but your mom and your siblings.
I mean, everything. My dad guided me through it. I would have had no clue what to do, where to go, who to talk to. But he's a football coach. He coaches at Harding University, and so he's been in this world for I think 17 years, and he just kind of showed me where I need to go, what I need to do, so I can figure it out myself. But my whole family's been awesome to support me, loved me the whole way, and I've really appreciated them, loved them for that.
So talk to us about the conversations that you've had with Coach Sam Pittman and his recruitment, and also with Travis Williams, as we know that it's always fascinating to see behind the scenes, but what were those conversations like with coaches, and what were some of the things that they really liked about you and your game, and why they wanted you to be a part of the team?
Those conversations were very interesting. Coach Pittman and Coach Williams both bring a lot of energy. They're really, really funny, and I enjoyed being around every second of being around them. Engaging, interested. They're both men of faith, which is what matters to me, and that was really, really cool to see in coaches that are at that level. But I mean, I think what they saw from one of my strengths are is my speed and ability to finish plays. But that's all I know.
Why? Where does that speed come from? Is that just years of playing football? Did you play any other sports that kind of cater to you being that fast on a football field?
Well, we have a great strength training coach, Coach Smith, and he's kind of guided us in how to run and form and workouts. But I used to run track, play basketball. I played baseball in the past. I was actually on the swim team. And so I guess all of those things have kind of conditioned me to be able to perform the way I do now.
Speaking with the latest Razorback football commit, Wyatt Simmons, here on Out of Bounds. And Wyatt, you mentioned about playing different sports and everything. Was football just the number one love that you had, or was it just maybe the one that you felt like you were the best at?
I just love being on a field and being able to really hit somebody. It's a whole different feeling from any other sport I'm involved in, and it's just been special to me.
So what would you say is the best part of your game? You mentioned your speed, but what other things do you like to do on a football field?
I feel like I have a pretty good feel for the game, and I really, really like to hit people. I'm not scared of contact, so I don't slow down, and I'm able to make a lot of plays that would be harder to make if you were worried about blockers and contact, but that's kind of some of my other strengths.
So is there something specific that the coaches maybe have asked you to work on this or continue to develop this? Is there something that you're really going to focus on this year as your final year in high school?
Yes, sir, for sure. By changing direction and being able to play in the open field, I kind of didn't have to do a lot of that last year. It was more run and a hit, but that's something I want to work on this year for sure, and being able to shed blocks with my hands. I usually lead with my head. So I need to learn to be able to use my hands, get off blocks, and be able to play in open space.
So Wyatt, just looking at your tape, you're disruptive in the run game, and you get in the backfield quite a bit. You get after the quarterback. What about pass coverage? Is that something you enjoy doing also?
That's something that I wasn't really a part of last year, as just the way that my position was. But we switched it up this year, and I'll be in a lot of pass coverage. I've enjoyed doing it so far. 7-on-7s were a lot of fun, and I've been getting a lot better at it. But I do enjoy it now.
Also, Wyatt, with your recruiting, I'm just curious because it's still early in the process. Or you're not going to take any more visits. You're not talking to any other schools. You're shutting it down. You're completely with that, or is there still maybe some things on the horizon that you want to make sure of and check out before you end up signing your national letter of intent?
No, no, sir. Definitely shutting it down. I'm a loyalty guy. It's how my dad raised me. It's how my whole family has been my whole life. I've committed to be a hog, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't need to go on dates when I'm already married. So
I like that.
Love that. Yeah. So, Wyatt, just growing up playing the game, and then you're growing up in a family where your dad is coaching, so you have that with the background. But watching, were there some players that you grew up kind of watching, and maybe you add something to your game from certain players that you watched?
as far as guys that have played for my dad, or overall?
Just overall, like if you watch some guys in college that you like the way they play, some players in the NFL you like the way they play.
This is kind of weird, but I haven't followed football my whole life. I kind of just really, really love playing. So I don't have a whole lot of people that I've done that also, but I like to watch Brian Dawkins highlights right before the game because the way he plays just like crazy, complete disregard for his body. He's just going to lay it all on the line, and that's what I want to be able to do. I kind of give everything I have all the time, and so I've kind of, I guess, modeled off of him. So,
have you always played linebacker, or you played other positions?
I've only played linebacker for 1 year, so I played receiver my sophomore year and DN my freshman year.
Wow, see, that's wild. That's just so new and so crazy how it's gone for you here too. And I know that if you end up, modeling after Brian Dawkins, he was pretty successful. So I feel like you'll do just fine if end up being any sort of comparison to him. And you talk about football and obviously the excitement that you have, but just out of curiosity, especially for all the listeners out there, what are some things that's outside of football that you like to do? Maybe some hobbies that you have, or some things that you like to do besides going out there and hitting people.
I really, really like being around people, being around friends, loving on them and growing relationships. So really whatever they're doing. But if I'm by myself and I want to be entertained, I like cliff jumping and swimming a lot. So we have rock quarries around where I live and a lake, Pierce Ferry Lake. And so I'll go out there and jump off cliffs or play disc golf.
What about movies, TV shows? What are you into as far as that?
I actually don't watch. I haven't watched a whole lot of movies recently, but something that used to be my favorite, Kung Fu Panda. I think it's one of the greatest trilogies of all time.
Yeah, well, you know what? That I was thinking about when you said the Kung Fu Panda. I was like, yeah, I guess that kind of adds up as far as where your age is at. But the greatest trilogy of all time. Have there already been three? Oh, we thought there were two. There's three of them.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I guess I'm gonna have to check out that third one then if I can see it streaming somewhere. Gonna have to make
worth it.
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently so. It's the greatest trilogy. So, all right. So not a whole lot of movies, but just shows. So, if people wanted to be able to know more about you, are you big on social media at all, or is it something that you're just pretty relaxed and focus on football and cliff diving and all that fun stuff?
No, sir. I don't like social media at all. I just my coach runs my Twitter. I don't know how to do Twitter. And so he's helped me with that, but that's not something I'm on hardly at all.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. Well, Wyatt, you mentioned playing other sports. When did you decide to just concentrate on football only?
I still play basketball, but I guess I've focused on it more now just because of that being something that I'm going to be using in the future. Something that is going to have a huge impact on my life. I guess this summer is the first time I've really been like, wait, this is something that's going to be way more important. I need to really grind and focus on this. So pretty recently, actually.
Well, Wyatt, I tell you what, we'll let you end it on this one. Just out of curiosity, going to the University of Arkansas, you're not taking any more visits. That's the place you want to be. You want to play for Sam Pittman. You want to be a Razorback. So I don't know if you've thought this far ahead, but when you do play for Arkansas and your career at Arkansas comes to an end, how do you want to be remembered as? How do you want everyone to remember Wyatt Simmons, the Razorback, when your career at the University of Arkansas is all said and done?
I really want to be remembered as Wyatt Simmons, the guy who treated people really, really well, and he played football. I don't want to be the football player who also did these things, because my faith is what matters in my life, and that's what I want to be known for. That's what I want. I want that to be something that shows through me instead of me doing something that glorifies that. And I definitely want to be remembered as someone who treated people really, really well.
That's a great answer, Wyatt. Hey, we really appreciate you coming on, man. Again, congratulations on your commitment to the University of Arkansas. I know Razorback fans are extremely excited to see you up there on the hill, but also good luck in your final year there at Harding Academy. I know you got to live it up for your senior year, man, but we appreciate the time and good luck this season, and hopefully we catch up with you later down the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Nabors. It's been an honor.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on with us, Wyatt. Again, Wyatt Simmons, newest Razorback football commitment out of Harding Academy, joining us here on Out of Bounds. And
his offer list is impressive.
It's
too.
incredible.
Like any and every school you can think of.
Because I think we read it was like Auburn, Clemson, Oklahoma, Texas,
Miami.
I mean, and for him to come on there and discuss, like, he played a different position, his sophomore year. He's a different player then. No one really thought about it until just the film got put out, and then it just blew up. It was like, it just, again, must have shown just how impressive it is, but it's almost pretty overwhelming, I'm sure, too, where, you heard him. He's a pretty simple kid, just likes to, go cliff diving and hang out with friends and whatnot. And then
doesn't
overnight,
watch a lot of TV.
Yeah, doesn't watch a lot of TV.
All about football.
Yeah, he doesn't even have social media. He doesn't even run a social media account. His coach does. All of that, just focused on all of that. And then to get the amount of attention that he got from all these different schools, it had to be a pretty overwhelming thing. So he's handling it really well, though. And for him to come on, and I thought his last answer especially was great, where, how he wants to be remembered when he's with Arkansas as a Razorback. He's like, I'd rather be remembered as someone who did great things or nice things with people and that also played football instead of me being just remembered as a football player. So seems like his head's in the right spot and his heart's in the right spot. But it was great to hear from him and just to see, what he's going through there at Harding Academy and go living up his senior year. Hopefully he has a lot of success there.
And being versatile, playing a bunch of different positions, it probably was a natural fit for him to play linebacker, though. His dad played linebacker, and he played in high school and college. And he also was versatile, where he played quarterback in high school, played defensive end, and that's something that Wyatt talked about, that he was playing defensive end, and now he's linebacker. So kind of following in his dad's footsteps from that standpoint.
And what'd you think of him saying that Brian Dawkins was the guy that he looked at?
Well, if you look at his game, that's kind of what it looks like. It looks really similar to it, and that's why, there was a wonder of if he's always played linebacker, because he fits the mold of one of those players that played at safety and then put on some weight, moved closer to the line, and played linebacker, and especially the speed that he has.
I mean, again, that's a great comparison, but and also bringing up him, and it wasn't about his scheme or his speed or anything. It's just like he puts his body on the line and plays with reckless abandon, and it's like, that's how I want to play. He's like, I want to be afraid of putting my body out there, just if it means getting a hit and
he likes to hit.
Yeah,
and as a defensive player, that's working out well for you, and that's what most players enjoy about playing defense, is they want to be able to hit somebody as opposed to getting hit.
Yeah, it's a good quality to have if you're a good defensive player, of wanting to get hit and tackling too. But we've had a lot of people already texting in on our Southern Structural Solutions text line. Actually, Randall says, how in the world did his parents get him to be a person like that? The world would be a better place if most kids were like him. So yeah,
it does start with the parents, and they're like that.
Yes, absolutely. Pipe Man says, very unique man. Very fortunate to get him on the hill. Yeah. Because I just always assume, and it's probably wrong of me, but it's like I always assume to say, kids these days always on their social media and their TikToks and, watching the world pass them by and everything. So when you hear of someone like him and knowing the attention that he's getting and not being on social media, not really caring about any of that stuff, it's almost unique and special in that own way, where how difficult I would think to just stay off of social media in this day and age, especially that age. But he's all about it. He's just about focusing on the important things. So, and having a dad that's a coach we always know that that's helpful of, his development and, making sure that it gets the right treatment of dealing with schools that are recruiting him and everything. So that was awesome, though. Really appreciate Wyatt Simmons coming on. And
Coach Simmons knew that there was something special in him also, and that's why he kind of pushed him towards putting that video out because, I mean, you don't need to keep that talent that Wyatt has. You don't need to keep that hidden from everybody. It needs to be known.
Yeah, well, it's known now, and it's just fortunate for Razorback fans that he has committed to Sam Pittman and has shut it down, not taking any more visits, not talking to anybody else. The guy is a 100% a Razorback. So appreciate Wyatt Simmons joining us again. If you missed the interview, we're going to have it on our podcast. You can also go and check it out on our live stream on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages as well. But we're going to keep it moving here on Out of Bounds on Trigger Tuesday. We still got to get to what's trending in the world of sports and Trigger Tuesday and what's bothering us. So we'll keep that moving here on Out of Bounds. Stay with us.
Tune in every Friday morning to hear Danny West from hogsports.com on Morning Mayhem. Brought to you by HJ Trailer Sales. They've got truck beds and utility trailers for every type of job and a service facility for maintenance and repair. Local folks with great products. Visit them online at hjtrailersales.com or in person at 808 Albert Pike in Hot Springs.
This is SportsCenter.
Last night in the NFL, the Commanders beat the Ravens 29-28 to put an end to Baltimore's 24-game preseason win streak. The last time the Ravens lost in preseason was in 2015. Sam Howell, who was named starting quarterback for Washington last Friday, threw for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. And former Arkansas basketball player Reggie Chaney has passed away at the age of 23. Chaney played for Arkansas for 2 seasons from 2018 to 2020. He then transferred to Houston, where he played the remaining 3 seasons of his collegiate career and was part of the 2020-2021 Cougars Final Four team. He won 6th Man of the Year in the American Athletic Conference last season. Chaney had planned to play professionally in Greece this fall. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
Hey, it's Joey and Ryan here at Red River Dodge. You know, we're known for amazing deals, but this month it's going to be much better. Have you ever wanted to buy a Jeep Gladiator? Well, now's the time. Employee pricing rebates, 1.9% financing, and much more on select models.
Ram 1,500 up to $13,000 off on select units.
So for all your new Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep,
Make that beautiful drive to Heber Springs
during the Make This the Summer event.
And don't forget, at Red River, we deliver. God bless.
Erectile dysfunction is a very serious medical issue. It affects over 60% of men over 45. This can be caused from low testosterone, high blood pressure, diabetes, prostate issues, and high cholesterol. The staff at the Little Rock Men's Clinic are specialists in treating these issues. Our medical specialists will determine your specific problem and develop a treatment plan for your specific needs. Our treatments have helped thousands of men with a 96% success rate. Call the Little Rock Men's Clinic at 501-382-9516. For August, our office visit is only $79. That includes your exam, blood work, and testos. If our specialist can't prove to you that the treatment works, your office visit is absolutely free.
I am 58 years old. I have more energy, and I am performing like I am 21 again. I feel amazing.
Come to the Little Rock Men's Clinic. We treat low T, ED, Peyronie's disease, and offer a male enhancement procedure. Call the Little Rock Men's Clinic at 501-382-9516. That's 501-382-9516. Or visit littlerockmensclinic.com.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by the Arkansas Highway Safety Office.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
Tired of all that laboring? Get ready to take a break from hard work with Lazy Boy's Labor Day sale. Save up to 50% off store-wide. From cozy couches to stylish sectionals, Lazy Boy has everything you need to create the perfect living space and a chair that's all yours. A wide selection of furniture for every room. With unbeatable prices, upgrade your home decor without breaking the bank. Don't miss out on your chance to save big. Visit Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor, Shackleford Galleries of Little Rock today.
Make it the event that everyone wants to attend by getting your meat for tailgates, parties, or just family get-togethers at Hoggs Meat Market. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
We do things around here my way. You understand that? You show me the kind of smarts makes me wonder if you know the difference between a sneeze and a wet fart. You're going to be second string all your life, boy.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
It's Out of Bounds here on a Trigger Tuesday. Appreciate everybody listening in this afternoon as we'll get to what's bothering us in the world of sports. Probably have to push that back maybe into the third hour because we didn't get a chance to jump into what's trending in the world of sports because there are a few headlines and storylines. We'll get to that as well as your Raise Your Hog update. Conor O'Gara is going to join us in the 3 o'clock hour. He's still got 3 and out, so it's going to be a busy show. But if you want in on the conversation, simple to do. Call or text in 501-661-1037. Get after us in the Asher Record Live fan feedback. After me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors. But a lot of things going on in the sports world, so let's talk about what's trending.
What's trending in the world of sports is sponsored by Arkansas-based West Rock Coffee. Join West Rock Coffee and their 1.5 million coffee farmers around the globe as they fuel Arkansas with great tasting coffee, tea, and water delivered directly to your business. Contact them at westrockcoffee.com or 833-886-JAVA today.
All right, what's trending in the world of sports? Huge news, breaking news, the biggest news you will ever hear from in the NFL. Baker Mayfield's been named the Tampa Bay Buccaneers starting quarterback. How about that? How about Baker? Look at that. 3 teams now, 4 teams. He's all started 4 different teams at this point. Good for him. He's going to take on and try to make it, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, he's the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's about it.
Didn't play in their last preseason game that they just played, and the plan was he was going to play at some point, but ended up not playing, and that kind of gave an indication as to where the Bucs were going to go when it came to starting quarterback.
We beat out Kyle Trask, for those of you that remember, the former Florida quarterback. So it's one of those things, and I'm sure just like it was at Carolina, I guess, where, yeah, he's the starter, but doesn't mean that they're going to keep rolling with him at their struggles. They probably will have a pretty short leash for him. But he was announced as a starter, so that's great. Also, in some other NFL news, talking about the saga of Jonathan Taylor, the running back for the Indianapolis Colts. It's pretty dicey of what was been going on, but this is according to Adam Schefter. Apparently, Jonathan Taylor has been granted permission by the Indianapolis Colts to seek a trade. But there's always a but in there. Colts will be seeking significant trade compensation where the team is looking for a first-round draft pick or a collection of picks that equates to 1, according to sources. So, yeah, it's almost like, yeah, okay, you can get a trade, but this is what we want, and we're probably not going to get it. So there you have it. We'll mind games and back and forth there. Does he end up getting traded, and does the Colts end up getting what they want out of it?
It just depends. And the way that they are devaluing the running back now, they know it's unlikely they will get a first-round pick for him. That's why they threw in a caveat of a collection of picks. And a collection could be a 3rd and a 5th rounder. And if they were able to get that for him, maybe that is something they would be all about.
Well, I think that it's at this point in time, they both just need to move on and hopefully can get something figured out there. But yeah, just the latest development and something that's crazy there in the NFL. And speaking of craziness going on in the NFL, this was a story from a Titans cornerback by the name of Caleb Farley. This is a really terrible story, but a wild one. So the father of the Tennessee Titans cornerback died in an apparent explosion around midnight on Monday that destroyed the NFL player's North Carolina home, as well as left another person injured. He was found, his dad was found dead in debris there at Lake Norman. And it says first responders went to the house around midnight. They found one victim collapsed in the structure. And another person who has not been identified publicly who was transported to the hospital. And, of course, Coach Mike Vrabel says their thoughts and prayers. They took a knee to pray for him and everything. But it's just aerial footage shows that it was reduced to rubble, complete and total rubble, as it was 6,300 square feet. So it's a very large plot of land there, at least what was there as far as the house goes. And it exploded. Doesn't really have any other details as to why or what happened, but that is just a terrible and crazy story. And what could possibly cause an explosion that could lead it to rubble of a 6,300 square foot house?
Yeah.
And at midnight on a Monday. Like, I can't imagine. Hopefully there's no foul play, but that's just a really sad story all around.
So his dad passed away, Robert Farley, and there was also another person there that they had non-life-threatening injuries.
Well, that's good. That's good for at least on that front. But yeah, very sad deal. And I guess we'll see if anything develops from that story. But also someone that has been an ongoing saga too has been James Harden. There with the NBA, as he's not playing for the 76ers, refuses to play for the 76ers, doesn't want anything to do with the 76ers, especially Daryl Morey, because he called him a liar. Well, the NBA announced that it has fined 76ers star James Harden $100,000 after his recent comments. They launched an inquiry to the circumstances that Harden's comments were made on August 14th and 17th, which the NBA said indicated, quote, he would not perform the services called for under his player contract unless he was traded to another team. So,
yeah, the NBA is trying to crack down on these players asking for trades and demanding trades, and then it happening. A similar situation with Dame Lillard, where they said that he couldn't demand to only play for one team, meaning that he wasn't going to play for any other team in the league. So they're trying to crack down on that. Also, they're going to look into the Sixers, because with James Harden's comments, it says that maybe he was promised something, and that's illegal as far as promising him something outside of what is his current contract.
So it could be pretty problematic, and it doesn't look like it's going to be ending anytime soon for this saga that continues on. But $100,000 getting fined for him, which, I know people will be like, oh, well, for how much money he has, it's no big deal. I was like, yeah, well, it's still $100,000 nonetheless. So he gets fined. And also some other NFL news. I always forget how to pronounce this guy's name. The Seahawks wide receiver that's going to have had a wrist injury and is going to have surgery on
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Thank you. I can never remember if the N is silent or not. So yes, he's going to have wrist surgery for the Seattle Seahawks to repair a broken bone in his wrist, but he still could be ready to start for the regular season. So for you fans of the Seahawks out there, but also for fantasy football owners, you have that going for you to where he could be ready to go and back.
He's already shown in just limited time in the preseason that he's going to be a great addition.
Yeah, he's always looked really good, and just all the practices that he's had. We mentioned about the Washington Commanders beating the Ravens and ending that 24-game win streak in their preseason games. But I also saw this too, which we talked about Major League Baseball and some of the storylines from it. But this is according to Front Office Sports Today. The Milwaukee Brewers could begin looking into a relocation as a result of the $448 million worth of needed stadium renovations. And people have been speculating on if they'll stay in Milwaukee or whatnot. But apparently, according to the sources, that it could end up being a very intriguing deal where the Brewers could move to Nashville, because Nashville's been wanting a team for a while.
Teams always do this when they're trying to get that new stadium deal. So it'll be put out there that they're looking into possible relocation. Now, they want to stay put. That's what they ultimately want to do, but they want that new stadium. And they'll travel to get that new stadium, and that's kind of where it is.
It's almost like the negotiation tactic, saying, hey, this is what we want, and if we don't get what we want, we'll go to someplace that'll give it to us. But again, Milwaukee Brewers, pretty synonymous. They've been there forever. And I know that people who, especially the fans of them, don't want them to leave, but it would be kind of cool to have a team in Nashville pretty close by, just 4.5 hours away. To have the Rangers down in Arlington, and then you have Nashville. We'll a few more teams of Major League Baseball in the South. There's not whole lot around here, So there's not any in New Orleans, which I've always felt like they should have a baseball team. So Nashville wouldn't be too bad, but I don't know if Nashville Brewers may not go the same way. May have to change the name or something, but
that's looking way ahead because don't think that's happening.
No, I don't think so too, but it is always fun to dream about it. So there's what's trending in the world of sports. Let's go back to the phone lines as Rick is in Conway. What's up, Rick?
Hi, John. Just several quarterback questions. I was watching the NFL preseason, and Winston seemed to have quite a bit of playing time for the Saints. Is he the starter, or who is the starter for the Saints?
David Carr is the starter, so Jameis is the backup, and that's why he's getting a lot of playing time.
Okay. The 49ers, is it Brock Purdy the starter?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is Brandon, he's fighting for a spot.
Yes, he is against Sam Darnold, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with Trey Lance.
Okay. Now, what happened to, and I don't hear his name, the Garoppolo? Where's he at?
He's with the Raiders.
Yep.
He's the starting quarterback there.
The starting quarterback Raiders. Okay. Last one, Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton is the backup quarterback for the Panthers. He'll be backing up Bryce Young.
That's right. That's right. Okay, good. And last but not least, I hope, even though he's from Oklahoma, Baker, what's his name? I sure hope he does good.
Same.
Seems like a good kid, good quarterback.
Yeah, I'm always been
Baker Mayfield. Yeah,
been a big Baker guy. I don't know if he'll be able to get it done in Tampa. He's had some opportunities, but if he can't get it done in Tampa, I think that it's going to come. Yeah, it's going to come to an end pretty quick.
He may still be on a roster as a backup, but starting position that's going to go away. This will be the last chance for that.
Well, didn't Brandon Allen, was he not in a better position at Cincinnati to be a backup to Burrows?
He was actually, and
so why did he go? Why did he go to 49ers? Is money or something else?
Yeah, contract situation. He wanted to move on, but yeah, it was no way to tell what was going to happen with Joe Burrow. But had they known that ahead of time, then he was the backup, and he probably would get some time here at the beginning of the season.
Because Burrow's kind of he's injured right now, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what I couldn't figure out and everything. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. Have a good show. Thanks.
All right. Appreciate it, Rick. Thanks for calling in, man. Always good to hear from you. We're up against it. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got more phone calls and messages we'll get to. Got your Razor Hog update presented by True Service. Keep it moving on Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds. So stay with us.
Is your cooling system handling summer? Middleton Heat and Air is here to keep your family nice and cool through even the hottest Arkansas summer. We're always ready with in-stock equipment, and you can count on us for free estimates on replacements with no overtime rate from 8 to 8, even on weekends. See why we're the most trusted name for heat and air in the state. Call Middleton today at 501-847-0371.
Everybody, everywhere has heard the endless offers to bring your current phone in and trade up for the latest model. Jump from iPhone 10 to iPhone 23. Switch from flip phone to Android. You've heard it all, but you haven't heard this. This month at Gwatney Chevrolet, trade your old phone towards a new ride. That's right. Why go trading your phone for another phone when you can trade a phone towards a car? During August, your old trade-in phone is worth $500 towards any car, truck, or SUV on the lot. And the best part is, everyone is getting approved this month, regardless of credit or your current situation. You might not have a down payment, but odds are you have an old phone. So don't upgrade your phone this month. Upgrade your ride instead by bringing it to Gwatney Chevrolet, 1301 TP White Drive in Jacksonville. Call 501-982-2102. GwatneyChevrolet.com. Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Come on down to Doe's Eat Place at the corner of Ringo and Markham in downtown Little Rock for mouth-watering burgers, catfish, and steak by the pound. Oh, and don't forget our world-famous tamales, now open Monday through Friday, 11 to 2 for lunch, and Monday through Saturday, 5 to 9 for dinner. Family-owned and operated for over 35 years. And remember, Doe's Eat Place for goodness steaks.
This is Pat Bradley for Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union. Summer's coming to an end soon, and so will the Summer Auto Loan Special from Alcoa. Hurry to take advantage of rates as low as 2.49%, up to 84 months financing, and no payments for 90 days. Can't get better than that. You can apply online at alcoacommunityfcu.org or at their branches in Benton and Sheridan. Rates like these don't come along often, so hurry and don't miss out. Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union, serving Saline, Grant, Garland, Hot Spring, and Perry counties.
If you're on the job day in and day out, you know living with pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders is miserable. The good news, QC Kinetics gets it. They understand guys like you.
They don't have the luxury of taking time off. They want to keep working. We are built for those guys that want to keep working and want to stay active. So the vast majority of who we see are the blue collar guys like me and you.
QC Kinetics uses biologic therapies, just like pro athletes have used for years, to get you lasting pain relief with no surgery.
I want you to continue working. I want you to continue exercising. The joints are made to be moved.
The treatments at QC Kinetics are fast and non-invasive.
It's not a lot of time commitment on your part. There is no downtime or recovery time. You don't need short-term disability with what we do. We want to keep you active.
Call QC Kinetics now to set up your free no-obligation consultation. Learn how you can get real pain relief and stay on the job.
Call QC Kinetics, 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. 501-222-8440.
The new Lotto game from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is creating new traditions for our players, like Margaret from Conway.
I always play 2004, 20 and 4. That's Mr. Biscuit's adoption year. When we win, I'm going to give him the life he always dreamed of. Isn't that right, Mr. Biscuit?
Your numbers, your game. Play Lotto every Wednesday and Saturday for your chance to match 6 and get rich. Only $2 per play. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Get only the best customer service and the best selection of meats at Hoggs Meat Market, where they have sliced boar head deli meats and cheeses. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Oh, man, talk radio?
Yes, talk radio.
So boring, man.
Okay.
The car just committed suicide.
Shut up, man.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
It's Out of Bounds here on a Trigger Tuesday, and we're going to get to your Razor Hog update presented by True Service, but wanted to address a text that we got in on the Southern Structural Solutions text line. It comes from the 501, says, how is Drew Sanders doing with the Denver Broncos? Can you please update us? Well, from what I've seen and what I've read just here recently, I think it was about 4 or 5 days ago, saw that Vance Joseph, who's the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, spoke very highly of Drew and said that they have a plan for him this upcoming season. Said wouldn't reveal it, but they're going to get involved. They said they love him. He's all in. He's got a lot of different elements to his game that they're excited about. But apparently he's doing Drew Sanders things at Denver and expect to see him playing in some sort of capacity this year for the Broncos.
Got to watch some preseason games to keep up with him and see just what he's doing and how much he's playing. But it seems like he's found a home, and he'll be able to do some good things for the Broncos in that defense. And they do have a dominant defense. That's the strength of their team right now.
Yeah, so if he can get on the field with some of those great defensive players, it kind of shows exactly how much he's standing out. But, he's a great player here at Arkansas, and he'll be a great player in the NFL, and hopefully he does really well there in Denver. So we'll have some other things to talk about as the show goes on. And there's always fun things happening once we get to some of the storylines and 3 and Out, and also Connor O'Gara too. But right now, let's go ahead and jump into your Razor Hog update presented by True Service.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season! Hogs by 90!
This is your Razor Hog Update on Out of Bounds, presented by True Service Community Federal Credit Union, where they offer new mortgage loans, refinancing, auto loans, and small business loans. Online at trueservice.net.
All right, so for your Razor Hog updates, Sam Pittman was there at the Little Rock Touchdown Club today in a packed-out house. He was all about it, and he was asked today on the Zone, what's he concerned about as far as the position groups go for his football team?
Offensive line, if you're looking at depth, offensive line, even though we're finding them. I think Andrew Chambliss came in and done a great job for us. Devin Manuel's been out a few days, and Chambliss proven that he can win. We can win with him. We win with him in the SEC. So that one's been a really good deal. Marion Wiggins is another guy that we think from Coffeyville coming in is going to help us. But probably depth-wise, I think we've solidified at the linebacker spot. That was concerning. Tight end was concerning depth-wise. Right now, and the health of the offensive line. We've got some guys banged up in there, not permanently, but banged up. So that right now would be probably the key, most concerning depth.
Also, Sam Pittman was asked about playing all these games away from Fayetteville, especially during the stretch where the first 8 games, 3 of them are only in Fayetteville. And here's what he had to say about those concerns.
Well, if you remember 2 years ago, I think we had 5 game stretch in there. 3 of them were supposed to be at home. We played once, in Fayetteville. So that was kind of very similar. Back then, I don't know if the opponents were quite, I think all 4 of these guys are top 25 teams that were playing, but that's SEC football as well. But so that it happened to us before. I'm more disappointed for the fans of Northwest Arkansas. I mean, we're leaving 2 different venues. I get it. At least one of them we're staying in the state, which is a good thing. But eventually, I think we need more home games, and certainly, in an 8-game stretch before we're off, we only play 3 of those in at home. And so it makes it difficult for the fans, I think, as well as travel. Travel's travel, no matter if it's home on the schedule and you're going to Dallas, that's not home. Home is Fayetteville.
Also, yesterday, we had a chance to hear from some of the Razorback football players, Eric Gregory being one of them. And he was talking about the defensive line, which gets a lot of praise from all the coaches and its depth, unlike the offensive line. But what can be some of the benefits from it?
This is sure one of the deepest D-lines I've had since I've been here. We had at least 3 groups that can play and contribute. Guys like Kiwi, Tank, and just the rest of the guys, Cam, TC. Like, we were pretty deep. This is the deepest I've been, and we're looking good. Man, it gives us an opportunity to get a break and come back in fresh and just be able to rotate all 3 of those groups in. Guys be fresh, make plays.
So a lot of excitement surrounding the defensive line and the depth and the talent that they have. And what also came out today, as we know, with AP All-Americans, it's got a lot of awards that get awarded to players during the preseason. But preseason coaches, all SEC teams officially came out, and you have 6 Razorbacks on the teams. As not only do you have KJ Jefferson, Brady Latham, and Bo Limmer, who were tabbed on the second team offense, but Cam Little was on the third team. Again, I'm not a big fan of third teams, but that's still there. But 2 first-teamers for Arkansas, Dwight McLaughlin and Rocket Sanders, both there in the mix. So pretty big for them to be getting those preseason acknowledgments. And had a really cool and funny clip there from Sam Pittman, actually, when he was on Marty and McGee. It's not necessarily an update, but just still something that really sums up who Sam Pittman is and the type of guy that he is. But what's the perfect day for Sam Pittman? Well, let's take a listen.
If you had a blank canvas and could paint your perfect day, what does Sam Pittman's perfect day look like?
Well, I wish my wife learned how to use that new fancy coffee machine I have, because there's an hour and 15 minutes that I got to take her down to Starbucks. So that'd be the perfect part of that. I sleep in a little bit later. Okay. Got this fancy machine, don't know how to work it. So that would be part of it. Then I come back, man, if I could go buy Popeyes and get me one of them $25 buckets, and they got a sandwich, 2 sandwiches in there, and then come out and have me so cold beer, got to. And then I'd get in on the boat. If I get on the boat, I'll be touring around for a minute, and there's about 8 or 9 places you can get off your boat and eat. I probably go over to Sam's Pizza, throw down a piece of pizza or two. And then I come back, and it'd be about 6 o'clock, I jump in the pool. And then hey, you want to hear the fight song? You come sit in my pool. They grab, the fight song as they come by the Hogs. I do that till about time to, I'm a little older than I used to be, maybe about 9:30. It'll be, let's call it a day,
Cash that
boys.
check.
But that'd be perfect. And then the next day, I'd like to do it all over again.
No, he's the winner.
Cold beer at every stop.
No, you're the winner.
Every stop.
Me too.
Popeyes and a piece of pizza. I'm in, son.
There you have it. Sam Pittman's perfect day is about what you'd expect out of him, with old cold beer, some Popeyes, chicken sandwiches, and hanging out by the pool there on a warm day. So it's a pretty funny clip there from Sam Pittman on Marty McGee. And, it's just who he is. But also we had a texter on the Southern Structural Solutions text line from Cattleman asking about if John Ridgway is still in the NFL. He's still with the Commanders, right?
He is.
Okay. That's what I thought. He was with the Cowboys for a bit, but I don't know as far as his playing time or what's kind of the role or what's expected out of him. But I know he's still on a roster, still on the team there in Washington. So I get a chance to, I guess, for whatever reason, if it was last night, I guess I could have seen if he played. I didn't see anything like that popped up. But anyway, I'll get back with you on that one. But still, we're up against it already as we got to take a top of the hour update. Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, is going to join us. He did a great preview and really in-depth analysis on Arkansas and their upcoming football season. And he's pretty high on the Hogs. Why is that? And what are some of the reasons that he believes Arkansas will be a much more improved team this season? We'll get into that and a lot more coming up next here on Out of Bounds, third hour next. So stay with us.
It's Justin Acree for Coffin by Design West. Shop with the local folks and get exactly what you want. You can also shop from the convenience of your own home by going to kaufmanlumber.com. There's an online store with over 800,000 items in inventory that can be delivered straight to your front door. Items in inventory include everything from hardware to housewares, heating and cooling supplies, lawn and garden tools, sporting goods, store and office supplies, and there's a huge range of products in each area available. So go by their store in West Little Rock at 14900 Cancel Road or do your shopping online at kaufmanlumber.com.
Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer has 5 service trucks available, providing you on-site service to get you back on the road. If that doesn't do it, Stacked has a new state-of-the-art 13-bay shop for service and repair on all Class A trucks, trailers, RVs, light and medium-duty commercial vehicles, tires, brakes, AC, engine repair, transmissions, differentials, and driveline repair. Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer Repair. Get Stacked 2 miles off 530 exit 34 in Whitehall.
This is Pat Bradley. Tune in every Tuesday when I join Justin and Wes in the Zone. Brought to you by River City Flooring. Visit rivercityflooringinc.com, rivercityflooringinc.com.
This is your official sports and entertainment station, Central Arkansas. We are 103.7 The Buzz, KABZ Little Rock. Buzz News with Channel 7's Cassandra Webb.
Cooling centers are open all week for those needing to escape the heat. In Little Rock, the Dunbar, East Little Rock, Southwest, Stevens, and West Central Community Centers will be open this week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for anyone needing to cool down. The North Little Rock Community Center on Willow Street will also be open from 10 to 6 each day through Saturday. We're told pets will be allowed at that location. The animal rescue group Cuddle Babies Rescue in Malvern wants animal cruelty laws to change. This comes after they took on a severe case of a starving dog. In Arkansas, someone who pleads guilty to animal cruelty will be fined up to $1,000 and could have a maximum sentence of 1 year in prison. But the rescue group says that's too light of a sentence. The man accused of neglecting the dog in this most recent case was cited for 5 misdemeanor counts of cruelty to animals. From the Channel 7 Newsroom, I'm Cassandra Webb.
Tune in to hear what the head hog has to say each Wednesday with the Sam Pittman Show, brought to you by Chris Crane Hyundai of Conway, Arkansas's #1 Hyundai dealer.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
Triple-digit heat continues to build across Arkansas with 101 expected for today's high. An excessive heat warning for most of the state and heat index readings around 110 or greater. Tonight's low just drops down to 78. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Today's special at Benihana, lunch only hibachi chicken, $14.95, which includes Benihana soup and our famous fried rice. Come see us at lunch.
This is Trey Reed from the Wild Side on 103.7 The Buzz, inviting you to join Mark Hedrick and me Tuesday nights at 7 p.m.
Brought to you by West Rock Landing at Lake Maumelle, Edwards Food Giant, all about tire and brake, Battery Outfitters, and Trader Bill's Outdoors, Hot Springs, and Little Rock locations.
It's the Wild Side, Tuesday at 7 p.m., only on 103.7 The Buzz.
This is Pat Bradley for Brewski's. Brewski's is the spot for lunch downtown. Burgers, wings, sandwiches, loaded fries, and healthy options like wraps and salads. Prepared from scratch daily and made hot and fresh to order. Happy hour starts at 11 a.m. and those drink specials go with everything on the menu. Brewski's, you're home for lunch, happy hour, and late night. It's Taco Tuesday at Brewski's. $1.50 street tacos, $5 signature 22-ounce margaritas, $3 Jose shots, and trivia at 7 p.m. Taco Tuesday at Brewski's.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Richard Yeager in Little Rock or Todd Martin or Seth Boyd in Jacksonville.
Tired of all that laboring? Get ready to take a break from hard work with Lazy Boy's Labor Day sale. Save up to 50% off store-wide. From cozy couches to stylish sectionals, Lazy Boy has everything you need to create the perfect living space and a chair that's all yours. A wide selection of furniture for every room with unbeatable prices. Upgrade your home decor without breaking the bank. Don't miss out on your chance to save big. Visit Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor, Shackelford Galleries of Little Rock today.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. Double B's is a growing Arkansas company with 34 locations in our state. Small local businesses are the largest employers nationally and create 2 out of every 3 new jobs. Buying locally at Double B's means creating more opportunities for local residents to work in our communities. When dollars are spent locally, they are respent locally, paying more salaries and building the local tax base. You want to keep Arkansas thriving and unique? Support an Arkansas-owned business like Double B's, which helps define our community's self-image and creates Arkansas pride for Arkansans. Double B's is of Arkansas and for Arkansas. Double B's. It's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Double B's.
There's nothing quite like outdoor living, and at Razorback Camper Sales, we've been bringing the camping lifestyle to families for over 50 years. We're Arkansas's oldest family-owned RV dealer with the best parts and service department in the state. Razorback Camper Sales has everything you need for travel trailers, fifth wheels, and pop-ups. Find out why our customers are always happy campers. Come see us in Hot Springs or online at razorbackcampersales.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My check engine light's on?
That could hurt your gas mileage. The AutoZone free fix finder service can help find the fix for free.
Get in the zone. This whole report for free?
That's right. Printed and on your phone for free.
Get in the zone. But what if the fix is too tough?
We'll recommend a local shop. Fix Finder, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you need in a snap, and it'll show you how to find it in store with a tap. Or get it delivered free. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
I love it, actually. I mean, I love it because it shows the tenacity that you have out there on the field. I mean, of course, we don't want to get penalized for it or make a bad mistake that costs us a game, but just having that hunger, everybody emotions high, everybody's their mentality, dog mentality, just bringing the best out of each other. I mean, it's iron sharpening iron in that. So, I mean, we know heated situations are going to happen. It's football. So, I mean, just not getting too carried away in those moments to where it hurt the team and affect the team and also hurt yourself.
Yeah. With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We're going to go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 1037 The Buzz.
Girl, I can buy your Westie world with my base stuff. I know that it's good. Won't you sit it on my taste buds? I get way too busy once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down. We playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Eat up your per diem. You just gotta hate them phone. If I quit your BM, I still rock Mercedes phone. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest phone. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral. Soprano C, we like to keep it on the high note. It's levels to it, you and I know. Tell them be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble.
2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's been a great, fun-filled show on a Trigger Tuesday. We'll talk about what's bothering us in the world of sports on the other side of the break. But it was good to hear from Sam Pittman at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. Got some really great quotes out of him, and pretty exciting to see that officially underway. It's week 0 of college football, so we'll have some college football games happening this weekend too. So 11 days also from Razorback football. I mean, it's just all happening right now, and what's so much fun to be able to talk about everything because it's talking season. You can do predictions, you can do who you think is going to be great. So you got award list, watch list. I don't know. It's still a little over the top and ridiculous, but so fun. So let's talk more about college football, and especially the Razorback football team as we go to the phone lines and welcome in Connor O'Gara of Saturday Down South for into the show. And Connor, as always, appreciate you joining us, man. And we're right here on the cusp of having some real college football, so it's got to be exciting for you too.
Beautiful time of year. It's not my favorite time. I like it when teams actually feel like what they've been saying for 8 months is sort of validated, like that mid-September, late September type of fall buzz in the air. But it is a great time of year. Football is indeed on the cusp.
Yeah, and it feels good to be able to have it. And I know specifically for Arkansas, I can just speak for the fans, they're starting to get more and more excited. You know, the more that they hear about their team, the more they hear about these, hey, defensive line's looking great. And, they got all these great things that are happening with the team inside these practices. The energy and the excitement revs up. And I'm sure it's like that for every fan base where every team just feels like, you know what, we could probably go 12-0 this year. You know, it's just that time of year where you get the excitement of the hype machine really rolling in, people trying to get excited about that too.
Yeah, the hype machine for Arkansas took a while to get going. I think after last year's regular season ended, there were vibes, dare I say vibes that haven't been that low since the am I even allowed to say Chad Morris on these airwaves? You guys can believe that, right?
Yeah, we can.
Take care of that for me. Yeah, clean that up on the back end. But yeah, it's a different sort of team right now with what we're expecting with Travis Williams, the addition on the defensive side of the ball, and obviously Danny, somebody that we've talked about a lot this offseason, and what he's going to be able to do with KJ Jefferson is one of the most interesting storylines in the SEC this year for my money. There's a lot of coordinator turnover in the SEC, and Arkansas is one of those places where you're just kind of like, man, it feels like it can go in a variety of ways, and it feels like they're one of those teams that are like, okay, so what if the Travis Williams decision works out, and what if they do end up getting what they thought they had at least year 3 with Barry Odom, and it's defense that looks like it's in the right place at the right time that can stay healthy. Are we talking about a 9-win team? These things are all on the table, and that's exciting. And that is the exciting thing when you kind of turn a new leaf and you make those personnel changes.
Arkansas 6-6 last season, and there's a lot of optimism that they'll be a better team this year. So, Connor, how do you see them going into this season?
Yeah, the crystal ball says 8-4. And that took a while to kind of settle on. I was debating whether or not it's going to be 8-4, it's going to be 7-5, and I alluded to the variety of outcomes that I think this team can have, and why I think that it can be a bit all over the place. Because when you take over a unit that was as bad as the Arkansas defense was last year, I think it's fair to ask those questions. You could talk about additions to the transfer portal all you want, and you could talk about all the good things the defensive line has done in preseason camp. Those are great things, but until we actually see it, it's a little bit tough to say that this is a team that's going to compete for a division title. Now, I am sold, however, on Danny KJ Jefferson marriage. I've talked a lot about that, why I think that at this stage of his career, he is ready to take on an offense like this. And it's not to say that it's going to be better than the Kendall Briles offense was 100% of the time. I think there are going to be some growing pains that come with it. But I do think that that's such a key piece of why this thing is able to go. We have questions about what it's going to look like at receiver. A lot of unproven guys, more significant turnover at that position after there was a lot of turnover last year. But the idea that KJ is going to regress in this team, I don't really buy. I think he's going to take that next step, and I think this is an 8-4 team.
Yeah, and also I saw with your crystal ball, you went game by game, and Arkansas losing on the road to LSU, on the road to Bama, and also losing to A&M and Arlington. I don't think any Razorback fan would be really surprised by that, just knowing how tough those teams are going to be, and also the weird game in Arlington just seems like it always goes against Arkansas more often than not. But you did have Arkansas going on the road, losing to Florida, which is a team they haven't played very often, and we know it's a big season for the Gators, and they're coming off the bye, and I'm just curious of why do you feel like that will be something, or at least one of the 4 games that Arkansas will end up losing this season?
I don't think Florida's going to be as bad as what 6-6 would suggest. And I know there's a lot. You talk about a team with a lot of question marks. I mean, Florida is just loaded with that. There are very few areas that you could point to at that team and say, yep, they should be really good there. Running back room, great. Other than that, you're kind of like, man, I don't really know what this is all going to look like. And you're kind of pinning your hopes on a 30-year-old defensive coordinator in Austin Armstrong, who was a very late addition to this Florida team. And so now, the questions about the schedule are fair, but where I see this is a potential mismatch for Arkansas is defending Ricky Pearsall, a guy who can just kind of get open all over the field. And I've had to do a little bit of like a revisiting of his season, because I remember just being so down on the Florida passing game as a whole. And then you kind of look back at the spots that he was put in, knowing the limitations of Anthony Richardson as a passer and understanding that by the end of the year, man, that group was decimated. But he has a lot of experience running around all over the field, finding ways to get open, being that over-the-top guy, too, that I could close my eyes and picture Arkansas having a difficult time defending him. And that's because, obviously, we saw so many different guys get loose on the back end of that Arkansas defense last year, and it's just such a struggle. Obviously, so many new pieces there, and you hope that they're going to be put in better spots. But I think that ends up making the difference. And look, it's still the Swamp. I mean, that is still a difficult place to play, and not a lot of teams go in there and just pull out victories. So I do think that's a tough matchup, despite the fact that Arkansas is coming off the bye.
Game that always seems to be close on Arkansas' schedule, Ole Miss every year. And on your crystal ball prediction, you have Arkansas getting a win at Ole Miss. So what makes the difference there for Arkansas?
I love Arkansas Ole Miss. It's one of my favorite kind of under the radar SEC games that it's never going to get that like ABC love or anything like that. But you catch that game on a fall Saturday, you're not going to be disappointed. The 3 years of the Pittman Kiffin era, I mean, it's been really exciting, wildly entertaining games. I think Arkansas loses that game in Oxford, and I have the Ole Miss spectrum as being all over the place. I have them beating LSU and losing to Vandy. So I have a wide variety of outcomes for Lane Kiffin, who may or may not have, but definitely did quote tweet my crystal ball with a very long list of emojis that I'm pretty sure was basically saying thank you for giving us all the fuel we needed. But nonetheless, I think that Arkansas goes into that matchup feeling desperate. That's the biggest thing. Feeling desperate after getting off to a rough start in SEC play. And the biggest difference between this year's season and last year's season is Sam Pittman's going to know how to right the ship. They get off to that 0-2 start in SEC play this year, and they go in looking like a team possessed. And we saw how well they ran the football last year. Obviously, a team that also has a new defensive coordinator in Pete Golding. And I think you should be able to run the football against the defense once again. So I think it should be a big day for Rocky Sanders and for KJ Jefferson, obviously running the football as well. But I think that they're able to go in and get a very important early season road win.
See with Connor Ruggiero of Saturday Down South here on Out of Bounds. And Connor, going through when you had your wins and losses, was there one particular game that was like, man, you could have gone either way, like one that was really tough for you to say one way or the other for Arkansas, or were you pretty confident by each and every game going through and that you're like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. I feel good about this one.
Mississippi State is the one that I struggled with a lot. And it's, kind of teams going through some similar things right now. The two most experienced quarterbacks in the SEC, at least in terms of games against SEC competition, that are both going through pretty different, pretty significant schematic changes. And everybody's going to be wondering, is Will Rogers just a byproduct of the air raid offense, or is this guy just a really good quarterback? Because there's a very good chance he's going to end this season to be the SEC ultimate leader in career passing yards, which is a crazy thought. But at the same time, there are a lot of questions about what it's going to look like in this Kevin Barbay offense that he's going to be running. And so I have Arkansas winning that football game and not feeling great about it, but I think a lot of points are going to be scored. I wonder if the biggest difference in that one is Mississippi State not necessarily having that lockdown corner, not having a guy like Emmanuel Forbes that can just step in there and just totally change a game for you. I think that Arkansas, with those big-bodied receivers on the outside, Andrew Armstrong, Tyrone Broden, those guys getting single coverage and being able to take care of some of those matchups, we see the maturation of KJ Jefferson in this offense. This is one of those games where they're like, hey, we need to throw the football to win, and you end up getting a shootout. Arkansas wins 38-35.
You have Arkansas for the stretch run, winning 5 of the last 7 games. So if it happens like that, then there'll be a lot of excitement from the fans, and that's something that a lot of people have looked at the end of the schedule, thinking about that stretch run, that Arkansas could have that type of success at the end of the schedule.
Here's a question I wonder about, too. If it finishes like that, and it finishes with this projection, which, not to say, I'm usually like within 1 or 2 games of this. With Arkansas last year, I missed the mark. Like, I had them going 9-3 in the regular season. They end up being 6-6. And I guess I've always been a little bit higher on Arkansas during the Sam Pittman era. But I do wonder if by the end of the year, if they're at a place where maybe they're getting to a Florida Bowl game, not necessarily New Year's Six Bowl game at 8-4, and they get that 9th win, does Sam Pittman get an extension? Because if it goes really, really wrong, obviously the contract is favorable. It's favorable enough where if Hunter Yurachek decided that it was necessary, and if this wasn't salvageable, and you had a mass exodus of players, a one-way street in transfer portal, the assistant hires aren't working out, you can get out of that contract in a more favorable spot than so many other SEC teams can. But the flip side of that is, if they get to 9 wins, does that warrant an extension? And would they restructure that contract? That would be a really interesting late season storyline to follow if this crystal ball plays out and they do win 5 of those last 7 regular season games, and then maybe win a Florida Bowl game as well, like they did a couple years ago.
Well, since Connor, you asked that question, I'll give you at least a little bit of an answer to it. That thinking about if Arkansas was to go 8-4, that's 4-4 in SEC play more than likely. You're talking about Sam Pittman and his 4-year stretch at Arkansas, winning 14 games in SEC play, and when they only won 13 games total from 2012 to 2019. And so I look at that as almost you have to give him an extension, not just based on, you had a 9 win and a 6 win and a 9 win. It's more just about of what you've been able to do in the SEC and in SEC play, taking Arkansas from being a team that could never even win an SEC game, barely 1 or 2, to where consistently he's won 3-4 SEC games in each and every season he's been the Razorback head football coach.
So that brings up a really interesting question, because we know that Sam Pittman's representation has changed over to Jimmy Sexton, and that was a pretty well documented thing. I still thought that was a super, super program friendly deal that he signed, after he obviously has the big year too. But, the question then comes, okay, the incentive-based buyout, would that be something that they would take off the table? And would that be something that would be restructured if you have one of these seasons where you look like you're in position to, compete in the West for at least a little bit, where you're spending time in the top 25, you're finishing in the top 25, you're getting to a Florida Bowl game, and you feel like you're in a really good place going into this new era of college football. Everybody wants to feel like they have things figured out entering this new era of the SEC. That's the thing that I want to communicate so much, because, John, we talked about this. I don't think an SEC head coach gets fired at the end of this year. If you dig into some of the buyouts and you realize, like, whoa, Eli Drinkwitz is a $20 million buyout. Billy Napier would be $31 million to fire him. Jimbo Fisher, $76.8 million. Like, everybody wants to feel good and stable. And I wonder if Arkansas would buy into that if they did have that season wherein they get above that regular season over-under and they win at maybe one or two of those games that they're not supposed to, at least according to the experts.
You think Rocket Sanders can have similar success that he had last season? You had a list of Power 5 running backs who had 200 carries, 6 yards per carry, and 10 rushing touchdowns. He's only one of 4 running backs to do that from the Power 5. So you think he can have similar success this season?
And he's the only one of those 4 that's back. I mean, Bijan Robinson, Kendrick Miller, Eric Gray, those guys were studs last year. That's one of the things that I like about Rocket is that he's not just volume-based. You know, he's not, by any stretch of the imagination, his efficiency last year was so beneficial in what was his first real season as like a featured back in competitive football, which is just kind of a crazy thing to think about. And Sam Pittman has talked about him putting on a little bit more weight, and he's still just, you know, he's faster than ever, which if you're not running as much up-tempo offense, yeah, you can kind of afford to add on a little bit more weight. Maybe you try and become more durable. You can take on a little bit more contact. People forget he was like 205 pounds when he showed up at Arkansas. This is a guy who has clearly been able to put on weight and keep that speed at a really high level. And so I do think that he's still going to be able to have an awesome year. Will it be quite as good as it was last year if the volume goes down a little bit? Probably not quite as good, but the efficiency is going to allow him to make up some of that. So I do think that he's going to be an extremely productive player. Would be surprised if, you know, as long as he stays healthy, that's an all SEC type running back, of course. But it's just going to be a question of what does it look like in this new offense? How dialed back are those carries? You expect maybe they're going to have more involvement from the rest of the running back room, which is still pretty deep if it can stay healthy, but he should still be a phenomenal player.
Yeah, and I think that's really the question for Sam Pittman. We've talked about the thing he shows concern with his offensive line, which is almost ironic because he's an offensive line coach considered to be the greatest offensive line coach out there. But he's expressed concerns even today at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. He says, I'm concerned with our depth at that position. It's like, you can say how great KJ is or how great Rocket is and everything, but if Arkansas has a problem with an offensive line, the offense won't really matter that much because you won't be able to keep KJ Jefferson from getting hit and possibly getting injured, and Rocket won't be able to run. So that may be the biggest concern that most Razorback fans have right now is this offensive line.
Yeah, it's fair. And as good as you probably feel about Limmer and Latham, you kind of look around and you're like, yeah, there's a lot of inexperience there, and there's a lot of question marks. And that could be something where we're looking up in the middle of November and we're like, man, they're getting beat at this spot every single time. They don't necessarily have the tackles to be able to support this new offense. And we talked a lot about KJ not taking as many hits. And man, what does it look like if they can't protect him with those edge rushers, of which there are plenty of studs in the SEC who can do that at a high level. So yeah, it could absolutely be a question, especially if you're asking them to do some different things. And, you know, that's going to be an area of need, obviously, is to find out what that depth is. But at the same time, if you were going to pick any one person in college football to coach up an offensive line with preseason questions, it's probably Sam Pittman. And if it's not, he's very high on that list. So you do have the right person to be able to address some of those shortcomings. But yeah, I think it's fair. It's fair when he himself is saying that depth is an issue, and it could be something that hurts them, you know, maybe down the stretch at the end of the season here.
Based off the crystal ball projection, how do you have Arkansas stacking up in the SEC?
So 8-4 overall and 4-4 in SEC play. The 4-4 in SEC play is tricky because, like, I don't think there's a whole lot of separation, or at least not as much as some would like to perceive, between spots like 3 through 7 in the division. And I almost include LSU in there because let's not forget last year, LSU in the regular season finale got smashed by a team that wasn't going to a bowl game in Texas A&M, who just treated that like it was their Super Bowl. So let's not forget that LSU, a team that was division title winning, still struggled that much down the stretch. That's just kind of life in the SEC West. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're going 4-4 and keeping your head above water in SEC West, that's not a bad thing. You know, I think there are some rosters that I look at, or I just don't know that that's going to be the case. Auburn has a lot of questions in year one with Hugh Freeze. The depth could be an issue despite all the things that they've done in the transfer portal. I'm not as high on Ole Miss as some are, and I think that they have a lot of questions on defense that, we'll wait and see kind of how those are answered. And in any given week, you could just see one of those teams go down. Alabama has showed so much more weakness over the course of the last 2 years. 12 of their 16 games in SEC play the last 2 seasons have been one-score games in the fourth quarter. So who knows how invincible everybody is in this division. But if you're sitting there at 4-4, 8-4 overall with a chance for a 9th win in a bowl game, playing in the great state of Florida, then I think life could be a whole lot worse.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting how it plays out. Real quick, we just got about a minute with you, Connor. Vanderbilt and Hawaii. How do you feel like this one is? We got to talk SEC football, and it's the first game, week 0.
Don't bet against Clark Lee. Bet against him if he's like up against Georgia or something. But no, week 0, that is Clark Lee's time to shine. That team was ready to go last year. Look, don't sleep on Vandy, man. Like I say that despite the fact that I've got Vandy winning one SEC game and beating Lane Kiffin, the aforementioned Kiffin. But I still kind of wonder what their offense is going to look like from an improvement standpoint with AJ Swan and what it's going to look like. Who was a true freshman last year and showed some real promise. But now Vandy takes care of business. Hawaii's still in really, really rough shape. Like they're going to be in rough shape for a long time. I don't know if they're ever going to bounce back from what they had to go through the last year and a half. But yeah, no, Doors win big week 0. SEC gets on the board.
Good to know. So Connor O'Gara of Saturday Down South joining us as always, man. We appreciate it. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara, as well as his stuff on SaturdayDownSouth.com. Appreciate it, my man. Enjoy the final couple of weeks before college football really gets revved up. All right.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
All right. Again, Connor O'Gara joining us. We have Out of Bounds and Trigger Tuesday coming up next. So stay with us.
Listen for NFL Hall of Fame referee Walt Coleman Wednesdays during Morning Mayhem, presented by Sigma Supply Packaging Products. Schedule a free waste audit analysis with Sigma Supply's sales manager, David Breitenberg, and see if automation is a solution to your production line issues. Online at sigmasupply.com. If you're not using Sigma Supply, you got low-grade product, man.
This is Sports Center.
Last night in the NFL, the Commanders beat the Ravens 29-28 to put an end to Baltimore's 24-game preseason win streak. The last time the Ravens lost in preseason was in 2015. Sam Howell, who was named starting quarterback for Washington last Friday, threw for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. And former Arkansas basketball player Reggie Chaney has passed away at the age of 23. Chaney played for Arkansas for 2 seasons from 2018 to 2020. He then transferred to Houston, where he played the remaining 3 seasons of his collegiate career and was part of the 2020-2021 Cougars Final Four team. He won 6th Man of the Year in the American Athletic Conference last season. Chaney had planned to play professionally in Greece this fall. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network. Sports fans and trivia fans, listen up. Brewskis is bringing sports trivia to Thursday nights. Every Thursday at 7 p.m., come play sports trivia at the best sports bar in town. 22-ounce draft beer specials and $2 Plinko shots keep you from being thirsty, with plenty of pub grub options to keep you from being hungry, too. Arrive early and take advantage of the happy hour specials and stick around after trivia for the Thursday night karaoke party. So come check out all the new sports trivia every Thursday at 7 p.m. at Brewskis, your home for lunch, happy hour, and late night.
Sometimes the best summer getaway is the journey to the getaway. Start your summer road trip adventure at Hyundai, now during the Getaway Sales Event. Hurry in for great deals on many models, all backed by America's best warranty. It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Right now, get the Tucson or Santa Fe with up to $2,500 total savings. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. For well-qualified buyers only. Offer ends 9/5/23. Call 469-613-0227 for more details.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone. So it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Jeremiah Matthews in Little Rock, Justin Sollers in North Little Rock, or Michael Ludwig in Greenbrier today.
Tired of all that laboring? Get ready to take a break from hard work with Lazy Boy's Labor Day sale. Save up to 50% off store-wide. From cozy couches to stylish sectionals, Lazy Boy has everything you need to create the perfect living space and a chair that's all yours. A wide selection of furniture for every room. With unbeatable prices, upgrade your home decor without breaking the bank. Don't miss out on your chance to save big. Visit Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor, Shackleford Galleries of Little Rock today.
Football fans, tailgate season is here, which means it's time to score touchdowns and savings for your vehicle. At All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros, we offer incredible deals and service like your daddy used to get, with the financing options that fit your budget. With our team by your side, you'll get MVP service along with the traction and confidence you need to stay on the road. Visit us online today at allabouttireandbrake.com. All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros. Love the drive.
Every day, we do one thing, and we do it at the highest level. We formed Arkansas Urology more than 25 years ago, and ever since, our world-class team has gained experience and expertise in every aspect of urology. Today, you'll find our state-of-the-art facilities across Arkansas, where the latest technologies are used in innovative ways by skilled specialists who are dedicated to one thing, improving lives every day. Schedule your appointment at arkansasurology.com.
Check out Hoggs Meat Market's monthly specials and meat packages at hoggsmeatmarket.com. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Your brother wants a shot at the Catalina wine mix.
I'm ready. I'm walking tall. You think you're ready to run with the Bulls? I've been earning and burning, snapping necks and cashing checks.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Take the party wherever we go.
It's Out of Bounds here on a Trigger Tuesday, folks, but nothing that Gwatney Chevrolet does will ever trigger any of us, because they have some of the best deals you'll ever see going on right now, especially throughout the rest of the month of August, because it is coming to an end here pretty soon. You're talking about August 22nd already today. It's getting here. So you got to take advantage of the great deals. Like, for instance, you have a 2023 Equinox for $2,500 off and 1.9% interest. Those Equinoxes are really nice, too. Kind of got the hybrid feel of driving like a car, but with the space of an SUV. And there's a reason why you see those as all over the country and all over the state. People drive them, people love them, and they get it from Gwatney Chevrolet. They also got a 2023 High Country for over $6,000 off and a Silverado RST for as much as $9,000 off. And this is all going on through the month of August. And you also still have the deal where you have an old phone sitting around. Doesn't matter the type of phone. Just got an old phone. Want to trade it in. Don't trade it in for a new phone. Trade it in for down payment on your vehicle. Goes to a $500 down payment, and everyone is approved that brings in that phone. So check them out. Gwatney Chevrolet. They're in Jacksonville off the Gregory Street exit at 1301 TP White Drive in Jacksonville. There's a reason why they're Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. You can also shop them online at GwatneyChevrolet.com. See all the inventory they have there too. No matter what it is, no matter how you want to do it with Gwatney Chevrolet and GwatneyChevrolet.com. Get into Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds. Appreciate Connor O'Gara joining us in the previous segment, and we'll have a few things to get into once we talk about what's triggering us here in the world of sports. But a few texts, as well as our Asher Record Live fan feedback from the Southern Structural Solutions text line. Just Chuck says, another interesting thing to think about is when you talk about Sam Pittman's record and what his future looks like, it's the fact that we've had one of the most difficult schedules in the country for a number of years in a row. But starting next year, we might not have to play Alabama every year. The new schedule could shake out to be very advantageous to Arkansas if that's the case. Well, be nice, but not going to bank on that.
Yeah, you never know what the scheduling is going to be like. It's a one-year deal for next season, and they could decide to go with 9 conference games, or they could decide to stay at 8. So it's still hanging in the balance.
Also, from the text line from the 501 says, FYI to Hog Nation out there, maybe just skip the last 15 minutes of episode 2 of Swamp Kings, because it gave me some PTSD and a reminder of the Reggie Fish fumble in the SEC championship game. So,
if you're going to watch it, you got to watch it all.
Yeah, maybe just do that one with your eyes closed, like we were watching a scary movie as a kid. Maybe that's the way to do it. But good looking out, and thanks for the heads up there. Also from Ryan on our Asher Record Life fan feedback, he says, I think Cody Kennedy has a lot to prove this year. He has been average at best. I don't know if I'd say average, but it's definitely been something you don't want to keep seeing it get worse. Arkansas's offensive line was solid the first year under Sam Pittman, and each year, it's not to say it's been bad, but it definitely dropped off a little bit. So this is a big year for him and for Sam Pittman to try to put it together and make it to where it's going to be as good as it needs to be. It's got to take some steps forward. And there's no reason to not have depth, honestly, on the offensive line.
At every position.
Yeah.
That's always the goal. You want to have depth across the board. Now, in some years, you're going to have it in areas and kind of lacking in others, but that's just how recruiting goes.
Yeah. And the transfer portal has helped out a lot, too. So, again, another reason why you shouldn't have problems with depth. And for Sam Pittman being the offensive line guy that he is, there's no reason for it. So, hopefully that gets fixed up this year, but definitely not something you want to hear there being continued concerns about. But, hey, listen, it is a Trigger Tuesday. We're going to talk about what's bothering us in the world of sports, so let's go ahead and jump into it.
I'm angry. I'm spitting angry. I'm like a tornado of anger, swirling about. My heart rate is dangerously high right now.
Triggered Tuesday, where you let everyone know what's offended you in the world of sports on Out of Bounds.
All right, it is time for Trigger Tuesday, and a few things that I know for a fact bothers me in the world of sports and what's going on right now is just the fact that there are so many of these way too early, way too soon passings of former Razorback players or people involved with the Razorback program. I understand that life is crazy and life can come at us fast and you never know when our time is going to be up. But there's no doubt that this summer, especially, but just this year in general, some Razorback greats, some former Razorbacks, people tied with the Razorback program, whatever it is, and the passing of their life has just been, it's been awful. Again, Chris Smith, Ryan Mount, Alex Collins, just to name a few of the former greats. And then, you throw in Deion Stutz, the recruit that committed to Arkansas. You throw in Charles Ballantyne. And then you throw in, of course, Mike Stokes of the Tusk. And then you have the lace with Reggie Chaney. I don't know what's – or Keith Stokes. Sorry. Yeah, it's Keith Stokes. But just I don't know what's been happening with it. It's just a shame that it continues on this way. It's got to stop. I hope it stops because it's just really unfortunate to see anybody lose their life, but especially some of these young kids that are in their 20s. Like that's just it's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense, and it should never happen. So that's what's triggering me is having to go on the show or podcast or whatever it is and have to do an update on another young person or young kid or young adult, whatever, who has lost their life, who had a connection with the Razorback program. So it's just sad. Hopefully it comes to an end, and that's definitely what's been triggering me, not only today, but over the past few months.
So what triggers me is the Jonathan Taylor situation with the Colts. There have been a lot of mixed signals here. Jim Irsay said they weren't going to trade him. Now they've granted a trade request for Jonathan Taylor to see what's out there. But bottom line is if he ends up staying with the Colts, he's had a lot of missed time in training camp, some back and forth where he's been out due to a non-contact injury or non-football related injury. He's been away dealing with personal issues. So if he happens to stick with the Colts, he's going to get off to a slow start, or even if he goes to another team, get off to a slow start during the season because of all this missed time during training camp and preseason during the time leading up to the season. It's just a bad situation that needs to come to some kind of resolution here really soon.
Another thing that kind of triggers me, and this is more just in general from fans or from people who are excited about the season. Like we're all excited. We're all excited about getting to that point. We're tired of talking about it. But the one thing that always just has bothered me, no matter what it is, we'll just use the example of Arkansas. If Coach Sam Pittman comes out and says, this is the deepest and most talented offensive or defensive line that we've had in my time here. And then when he says that, you relay it and say, okay, well, I mean, this defensive line is going to be really good. If you've been reading, say, like Trey Biddy stuff on Hog Sports or whatever, it's like, hey, this defensive line's good. They're talented. They're really doing a great job in practice. And, just basically relaying the message. You'll have fans be like, yeah, I heard that before. It's like, yeah, I know, but that's what's been said. That's all we got to go on. And so it's a matter of if you're going to just report to what you've seen, report to what the coaches have told you, since that's the only access that's there, that's the only thing that you could say, and you're just going to have to take it for what it is until something changes, until it doesn't happen that way or whatever. But it just kind of gets really annoying where no matter what it is, like, hey, don't look at me as if like, oh, I was the guy that was wrong. It's like you're just relaying the messages of what the coaches have been saying. But there's a lot of people that just, whether it's being pessimistic or whatever, they take that stance, and it just gets, I don't know, really frustrating and old at times. But that's just fans at this point. But it's talk. That's all it is talk, predictions, whatnot. Wait till the season plays out. But don't get mad at everybody else because they're just relaying what the coaches said. That's the whole thing. So
you can hear the coaches say that for themselves because they have press conferences and they put the info out there.
Yeah.
So it's not about everybody else saying it. It's what the coaches are actually saying.
Yeah, get mad at them if it ends up being wrong. Just let them know about it, not the rest of us. But there you have it. There is Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds, and appreciate everybody being a part of it. And real quick before we take a commercial break, I wanted to play this clip. I don't know if we've had time for it in 3 and Out, but I did want to say at least maybe the opposite of Trigger Tuesday. Maybe like, if it did best and worst of the weekend, it'd be a best. But I love hearing this from Bill Belichick and talking about Taylor Swift. I don't even like Taylor Swift, but hearing Bill Belichick talk about Taylor Swift, I can allow this.
Football aside, there's been some good concerts here this summer. I know that you've talked in the past about how you don't usually do concerts, but you've taken in Bruce Springsteen before. Bruce is here this weekend. You'll be in Nashville. Were you able to go see?
Bad.
I know that's a bummer, but did you go to any other concerts leading up to it this summer?
Yeah, saw a little bit of Taylor.
That's my guy.
We were wondering about that.
Yeah. That was about it.
Did you enjoy it?
Did you get rained out? Were you at that show?
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
she
killed it.
She's tough, man. She just stood out there and played right through it.
I mean, so are you consider yourself to officially be a Swiftie now?
Officially? I don't know about that, but I don't know what
it
officially is.
Seems like Aaron Rodgers is.
Yeah. What does that mean? Like you have a sweatshirt or something?
You're gonna have a few.
Yeah.
Well, you can
Good
sing.
merch.
I think you can sing some of the lyrics. I don't know. I mean, they were selling rainwater for $70 a jar or something like that.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm definitely on the. You got to calm down.
Okay, he's a Swiftie.
That's pretty good. Like you got to calm down. That's
one of our best.
There's a lot of times when that's very appropriate.
Yes.
Just got to calm down.
Of all the things,
he knows it's Taylor Swift.
Of all the things, it's Taylor Swift. That Bill Belichick, you could almost kind of hear a smile in his responses and in his words. Like how often do you see that or hear that? But that's when it's a phenomenon when you got Bill Belichick like spending time. Like that was a 1.5-minute clip, spending time to talk about one thing that's not like football related that actually he expounds upon. That was weird, but Taylor Swift's done that for him too. It's like he didn't even know what officially being a Swiftie meant, but he knows and he has some fun with it. But yeah, I was wondering like if he went to a Taylor Swift concert, which he did, but like what was he doing? Was he singing along? Like did he just sit there? Did he rock back and forth? Did he just stare?
It sounds like he knows the music, so
yeah,
he may have been singing.
Now if there's ever a video of that, someone find it and let us know, because that will be one of the most either disturbing or incredible video clips you'll ever watch. But glad to know that Bill Belichick's a Swiftie, and hopefully they get him a sweatshirt. He likes those like cut off hoodies and stuff. Maybe they can do one of those in the Taylor Swift vibes. But oh yeah, that was just again one of the great clips from Bill Belichick, which he doesn't have very many of them. Usually it's because it's so short to the point, but that one was a good one about Taylor Swift. We were up against it. We got our final break to take, and then we'll have 3 and Out, close up shop, ready for Drive Time Sports. It's all next year on Out of Bounds.
Allow us to introduce ourselves. We are Big O Tires. However, we might as well go by Big O Tires, alignments, batteries, brakes, oil changes, suspensions, and free visual inspection upon arrival, because we do all that and more. But that name seems a little long and it won't fit on our sign. Now at Big O Tires in Conway and Cabot, take $100 off select sets of tires. That's right, save $100 right now off select sets of tires and get tires, service, and straight talk at Big O Tires.
Not again.
Let me tell you about my man Tom. He had some serious bad luck. And one day he said to me, "When is my luck gonna change?" And I was like, "You need to go to Tunica, bro." And he was like, "Yeah, good idea, bro." Tom was winning big money. People were cheering and kissing. My man was like, "This is amazing." His losing streak was finally over. Man, I cannot believe my luck. Believe it, because when you're in Tunica, you're always a winner.
Celebrate 20 wild years with Willie D's Rock and Roll Piano Bar on August 26th. Reserve your table at WillieD'sPianoBar.com.
Willie D's dueling pianos. Come and get your Willie on.
Greenway is your local source for John Deere equipment and implements. Now, we've made finding the perfect piece of equipment even easier. Shop our tractor packages online at GoGreenway.com. Till deeper with our down-to-earth package. Or save big with our Green Saver package. Need something with a little more muscle? Kick it up a notch with Greenway's Get In Gear package. We're here to support the DIYer in you. No matter what project comes your way, Greenway has you covered.
It's time for the 2023 Central Arkansas Tailgate Extravaganza at War Memorial Stadium. Friday, September 1st from 5 till 10. Saturday from 11 till kickoff. Delectable cuisine, exquisite beverages, captivating melodies, and jubilant camaraderie. Tickets, tables, corporate packages available. To choose your experience, visit CentralArkansasTailgate.com. Central Arkansas Tailgate, brought to you by Globe Life and Tyson.
David Dunn here with Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. We're the area's largest and highest rated independent diesel repair facility for all makes and models, from transmissions and brakes to suspensions and engine repair. If you're tired of high dealership prices and long wait times, come see what family owned and locally operated really means. Expert technicians and the latest computer diagnostics will get your equipment back on the road fast. Take the England exit on I-440 to Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. 568-2185. That's Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer.
August is here, and so is the start of spooky season. Stores are packed with Halloween decor, candy, and costumes. And car dealerships are flaunting interest rates that would scare Freddy Krueger. It's not that way at Gwatney Buick GMC, next to Sam's in North Little Rock. Gwatney's offering rates as low as 0.9%. This year, say no to candy corn, circus peanuts, licorice, and 4-cylinder full-size trucks. Gwatney Buick GMC's trucks have too many features, too much power, and twice the cylinders. Why go buy a full-size truck with a 4-cylinder when you can get the 5.3-liter V8 with an additional $3,250 off at Gwatney Buick GMC? Buying a car doesn't have to be scary, and shopping at Gwatney never is. 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. Call 501-945-4444. Gwatney Buick GMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers through credit.
Gwatney for Buick, Gwatney for GMC, Gwatney for life.
The Zone is on the road this Friday. Justin and Wes are heading to McDonald's on Arkansas Avenue in Russellville for the Change Roundup, benefiting Ronald McDonald House. Help the families of Ronald McDonald House Friday when you round up, and let Ronald McDonald keep the change.
Same great deals, all new location for Hoggs Meat Market in North Little Rock at 3901 JFK Boulevard. Call them today at 501-758-7700 for all their specials at Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people.
Kane is in the building. Their time is done. It's over.
Over? Did you say over?
Nonsense. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Call Kenny Loggins because you're in the danger zone. I play real sports. I'm trying to be the best at exercising.
It's time for 3 and Out. It's been 3 hours, and we are...
Boom. Out of here.
All right, it is time for 3 and Out. A few headlines, a few storylines, a few things that we got to dive into. And first off, something funny from the sports world. We know Memphis football has not been great over the past year and a half. It's been struggling pretty heavily, but they have a new promotion going on where they're having to get some people in the stands. And they have a ticket promotion where if fans who buy $60, that's how much their ticket is for their opener against Bethune-Cookman, the Tigers win, fans get a free ticket to the next home game. And it continues for each home game until Memphis loses at home. So how long will the free ticket last? Will they have a home schedule against Bethune-Cookman, then Navy, then Boise State, then Tulane, then USF, then SMU? It's creative, it's fun, and I like it, but man, it's also kind of showing how much they're struggling to try to get people in the stands and buy those season tickets. So we'll see if it plays out for them, and if it does, kudos. But rough go for Memphis in their football program here recently.
A joint practice between the Eagles and Colts was cut short because of what Jason Kelsey called a cheap shot on running back Kenneth Gainwell. And here's Jason Kelsey talking a little about that because they had a brawl that cleared the sidelines for both teams.
We try and keep things civil on the field. And I think for me, I pride myself on being a guy that sustains the emotion and the level of play out there, and I let my emotions get the better of me. That certainly doesn't belong out there on the field. And, just a little bit ashamed that it got to that level and that I did what I did. So certainly, not happy about that. And I think very highly of the guys that were out there, in particular 44 Zaire. I think, he's a tremendous player. I think all of their guys up front, and they brought a lot of intensity to the day, which made the practice intense. And, I think I didn't handle things properly there at the end.
So he says about the hit on Kenneth Gainwell, he just didn't appreciate the extra physical activity that came from the hit because they are still in preseason. It is a joint practice, and nothing is real right now as far as meaningful games. So he just took issue with it.
And I always laugh when I hear comments like that. Again, if people watch The Office, you know what I'm talking about. But Michael Scott in a basketball episode just gets hit a little too hard. There's no place for it. Just no place for that in this game. We're just trying to have fun, just trying to have a good old-fashioned game of football, and this is not the type of behavior. That's what it reminded me of. Just there's no place for it. But speaking of the NFL, we know the Super Bowl halftime show is always hot topic of conversation, and Taylor Swift reportedly said no. Well, this is the latest on the reporting of what the Super Bowl halftime show might be considered with. Not to say that it'll happen, not to say that sources are saying it happen, but what they're considering. A boy band, an all-boy band halftime show featuring NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, Boys to Men, Belle Biv DeVoe, Color Me Bad, and possibly a K-pop group. Don't know if that'll be feasible or if they'll pull it off, but hey, I think it would be quite the uniting of a lot of very famous boy bands in that group, and that would be pretty awesome to try to get all of them together. But there's also an offer out to Harry Styles. So don't really know if that's going to happen, but at least it's being considered. And someone who grew up in that era, I'd at least be all for it just because of how crazy it might end up being.
Lamar Odom has been keeping up with USA basketball as they took on Germany Sunday, and they have some games coming up for FIBA basketball in their quest to win a gold medal there. But he was roasted because he posted an image of his TV and said, "We're tuned in." And the TV looked like it was about a 50-inch TV on a large wall. So you can imagine some of the comments that came in. One of them was, "Congrats on the first apartment." There was another that said, "Your wall is bigger than my house." So then Lamar Odom, he responded and put another image of a 70-inch TV and just said, "I'm going to leave this here." And then there were more comments that said, "Maybe you should put that one on the wall because that one would be more fitting than the one that's there."
Well, over in Italy, there were some fans that saw Michael Jordan, which we know Michael Jordan is worldwide no matter where he goes. But he was walking in Italy and just mind his own business. People were crowding around him, taking videos of him. But the thing that really stood out is, a lot of people speaking Italian, couldn't really speak the language. So they just started making goat noises at him. I don't even want to try to make a goat noise because I feel like it sounded like a sheep. But they were making goat noises at him. And because he's the goat. So they couldn't. I guess that's the way that if it's a universal language, if you can't speak and tell him that he's the greatest of all time in Italian, then all right, we'll just go with the goat noises, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, goats. He's calling me the goat. Thank you, appreciate it." But appreciate the creativity, and that might be the only universal language that they can speak. But pretty weird, but a pretty funny moment too.
There was a Ferrari that sold at auction for almost $2 million. Now that would be appropriate that it's a Ferrari and it sells for about that amount. But the problem with this is the Ferrari was completely burned. It was just a shell of a car. and then it sells for almost $2 million. So little odd that there was something at auction that would command that type of money, and it is one of the cars that people look forward to driving and having as far as a collection, but that does nothing for anybody, and it brought in almost $2 million.
So Billy McFarland has announced the official return of the Fire Festival. If everybody remembers the whole fiasco with the Fire Festival, as well as a great documentary on it, it's been officially announced, and apparently it's the tickets are on sale, complete with $8,000 tickets, only $8,000, but there's no venue and there's no lineup. And just if you want to go ahead and get ahead of the game here, he says, quote, guys, this is your chance to pitch in and to get in on it. This is everything I've been working towards. Let's effing go. And it'll take place at the end of 2024. And that's the only detail that's been thrown out there. And there's going to be VIP tickets available, but doesn't say what the perks are. And, it just sounded like it's going to be about a regular Fire Fest. So for those of you who may go out there and spend that much money on it, you're an idiot. Do not do it. But hey, maybe this is the time that he finally gets it going the way that it was supposed to be and what it was meant to be. And the money will be worth it all.
Florida woman that met someone at a bar, she took some extreme measures and she spiked his drink. So when you hear about spiking drinks, you're thinking of certain things that she could have put in it, but she actually put bug spray in his drink. So she was arrested for the attempt to poison someone in Florida. And that it's kind of some of those odd stories that we hear coming out of Florida, but this is the latest with Florida woman.
Jeez. Well, congratulations to Will Levis. As we know, he had a interesting take about mayonnaise, but he has officially signed a deal with Hellman's Mayonnaise. And it's going to be a great thing no matter what for the money, but also he gets an unlimited supply of mayonnaise. So if there was a more fitting partnership when it comes to an NFL athlete as well as a big-time company, I think that this is one that hopefully lasts for a very long time, but good to know that he's never going to have to go out to the store and buy any mayonnaise because Hellman's going to have him taken care of.
Reggie Miller, famous NBA player, he's pushing limits and putting other hobbies out there on display. He said he recently did a 100-mile cycling race, and he said, quote, it absolutely kicked my ass. But he said he was happy to actually get through the race and just take on some different challenges.
I'm not going to say what this final one's for in specifics. I'll just have everyone go and search for it. But just remember, Trevon Diggs, likes can be seen on Twitter. Just know that. You liked the wrong thing. People saw it. It's pretty bad. But just remember that, folks. Your likes can be seen on Twitter. Appreciate everybody listening in Out of Bounds today. For Joe Franklin, I'm John Nabors. Same sports show, same sports channel. Tomorrow afternoon, stay tuned, folks. We got Drive Time Sports coming up.
Erectile dysfunction is a very serious medical issue. It affects